Welcome, everybody, to the One Up Yours show for Friday, August the 8th. I'm Garnet Lee, and I have for you today a most excellent show because Mark McDonald is here, world traveler,
hello,
gentleman extraordinaire, to join us.
Globe-trotting vagabond.
Hello, everyone.
And along with him, Shane is here, John is here. You're getting back in the regular swing of things. I'm very comfortable with this.
Mark commented yesterday that it seems as if John enjoys being on One Up Yours.
Yeah, how do you like that?
I'm like, John is kind of back now, it seems like.
It's odd, considering I retired.
Right, yeah.
You're the Brett Favre of podcasts.
Apparently, yeah.
Is somebody going to give me $20 million to not do it?
Let's not talk about this
He's
anymore.
actually having a very successful second season.
Oh, yes.
And that's Andrew Pfister over there. Rocking a very popular T-shirt today, I must say. Your T-shirt, your Venture Brothers T-shirt, everyone has been complimenting.
I thought that was just
you
some sort
It's a wonderful show.
It is.
Pedophiliac club T-shirt. You're
No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
So there you go. You've been getting tons of proper respect on that. Anyway, here's what we're going to do on the show today. We're going to do what you've been playing in the first segment, as always. Second segment, as promised, we have 4-minute warning. And then we have the news in the third segment, which is kind of weird. I mean, the news, no NPDs, no big trade shows, no crazy
Plenty of stuff happened, though.
Plenty of stuff happened. Yeah, I have lots of stuff here that happened. It's just, I don't know.
Is what you've been playing going to be interesting, or have we all been playing exactly the same stuff as we said last week?
What'd you guys talk about last week?
We might have a divide between sports and non-sports.
Oh, of
So
course.
we're gonna have to show some respect.
That game comes out next week, right?
Yes, it does. Fuck yeah, it comes out next week.
That game.
Let's talk about FIFA. That's the world sport.
It is the world sport.
Hey, actually, I understand that FIFA is very. What, David? Did you want to jump in for
David
Madden?
hates soccer.
David loves him so bad.
Shane loves women's soccer.
Oh, that's right. Shane loves women's soccer.
Olympic
women's
fever.
soccer.
Okay, Olympic fever has caught on at Shea at my house.
That's one house out of San Francisco.
And yesterday we watched the Norwegian women's team just defeat the U.S. women's team, and I gotta say, Norwegian women's soccer team hot.
I will agree.
Hot.
I will agree.
So it's not like women
They're
basketball.
playing Olympic soccer before the Olympics have started.
It's like qualifiers.
No, it was the real game.
It's like preliminary
It was
round.
preliminary round, but with 3,600 hours of coverage across the NBC networks, they had to start early.
Yeah.
This Shane moment brought to you by NBC.
Yeah,
I'm so sick of being force-fed the
Universal.
Olympics by every NBC network. It's disgusting.
Obviously, you're ready to parrot it at a moment's notice.
Yeah, seriously, and yet
36,000
the first thing
billion
you
hours.
do is talk about fucking European women's soccer on One Up Yours.
808, the imaginative wonderful world of
Subliminal messaging wins for NBC. Yes. Anyway, I've been playing the shit out of Madden. David's been playing the shit out of Madden. I really, really, really like it. I'm very happy with it. Very happy with it. I still have some complaints. I don't think they've ever perfected Madden. Actually, I saw someone who made a really interesting post. I think it was on Peter Moore's blog in response to something he said, where he said, what you guys really should do, if you want to stick with this cycle of releasing new versions of games, is at least go 2 years. Do a full-fledged roster update and uniform refresh, whatever else that takes.
We've talked about this before, and I'm sure someone at EA is like, throwing away millions of dollars. No, let's not do that.
Sort of technically announced that they're going subscription with it.
I don't know. Did they? I don't
That's
think so.
the trend. They're starting that with NHL.
Yeah, didn't they say that
not subscription, but it's kind of leaning towards a more persistent MMOE type of thing.
Yeah, and then
sports.
with Madden, I mean, they're saying they're doing there will be a roster update next Tuesday, actually the day the game ships.
So now they've done that.
Correct stuff.
They've done that the last couple of years.
And then they have to do it again because, Brett is wearing the wrong shirt.
I don't think we'll see.
Well, we've got that. So we've got that in the news.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to see them going away from yearly retail.
Right.
Until retail goes away. I mean.
Right. I mean, how are you going to leave that on the table?
Right.
It's like people talk about with Rock Band and Guitar Hero. It's like, are they going to go to just downloading the songs?
Right.
But I mean, that sounds great. But I mean, that's going to leave a $50, $60 minus all the other peripheral stuff. All those copies on all that money left on the table.
So you know what? Madden for me is almost exactly like the Guitar Hero Rock Band thing, where half of what I get so happy about when it comes out is that I'm just excited to play it again and be into it. I've fully recognize that there's a lot more that they could do to get Madden right. There's still places where you're like, wow, why did it animate that way? Why did it make me miss that tackle? Why did it not cover this guy? At the same time, it's really fun to get back into it. It's like you get caught up in the training training camp starts and football season's here and you're playing your teams and you just just sort of all comes together and you get excited about it, and you can see things are doing new. Like I played a weather game the other night. It was in the rain and the mud, and the effects that they were doing over the course of the game as the characters picked up mud on their jerseys looked really cool. But then you could also tell as the game drug on, there was a lot more slipping around. There's a lot of guys like going to make tackles and then like sliding off of people because they couldn't hold on. It was,
so that's one of the big bullet point differences this year? Is that one of the things they're calling out? What are like the big? Here's the different things. The only thing I've heard about is that feature where I think it's in training where if you throw an interception or something, it kind of pulls it back. The coach comes out and says, "Hey, this is what you should have done."
It's like a do-over.
So so they had a do-over button basically, which is like rewind. You can only play it in casual modes. It's not if you're playing a competitive mode online. You can agree not to have them. To me, having watched it, I don't even know what their bullet points are. I try to not get caught up in their hype for it. To me, what I notice the most is the animation system continues to get better and better and better each season. We talked about this a few weeks ago, and it's not that they're doing procedural stuff because obviously they're not to that point yet. But they do have the ability now that, like, if you're getting tackled, you can still try and make moves and break out of a tackle or have a spin or a juke added in after you've already been tackled. So it starts to look more and more realistic. I mean, I play the Cowboys because I love the Cowboys, and it's cool to see Romo do stuff like, as he's almost about to get tackled, put his hand out, take a step back, kind of hold a guy off a little bit, and then awkwardly fling a ball off his back foot towards T.O. I mean, they just get closer and closer to having that representation of what the game looks like.
Right.
And at the same time, something David and I talked about is that the game gets more and more and more technically football with each season. Like, it used to be I'd walk up and I'd come up to the line and I'd look out there and I'd say, okay, well, they're in this sort of set. If I watch this one play, I should be able to know whether or not this play will work. And now it's to the point where you're really like coming up to the line, making serious pre-snap reads of, okay, they're in this formation. I'm running this play. For this guy to be open, I need to watch the mic, or for this guy to be open, I need to watch the strong safety. You really have to like start balancing all that stuff out. And that's a lot for people who are casual players to watch.
So how long till it's actually used as part of training camp? Till people are like, sit down with Madden before the game? Never?
Never going to happen.
Never.
The broadcast networks,
never.
Some of the broadcast networks,
they're so
they
full
do
of
it for
shit.
simulation,
That's so full of shit, dude.
Simulation.
I'll tell you this. I think the play, like at least from the Cowboys standpoint, the playbook this year is closer than ever to the sort of plays they actually run on the field, because I'm starting to see a lot of stuff where, like, Witten's spread out in the slot and then he'll slide over in motion to come into like a blocking position. Like lots of mix-ups where they're putting T.O. in different spots on the field. It's getting closer and closer with each iteration.
So you don't think in 10 years when the Dennis Dyax one system is an eyedropper dropped into your eyeball and all the stats are updated real time when people run around the field, you don't think there's going to be any kind of... No. It's going to be film always.
It's a game, dude. It's a freaking game. Like this is the philosophical. I wish David hadn't left, because we had this big discussion about this. Like, how much further do you actually want it to go? I mean, we want to go play the game and have fun with it. The same thing with like FIFA and NBA Live and baseball and any of these games. Like, the fun of it is to get just enough feel of being there on the playing field that you are a superstar without it like ramming technical game down your throat.
A video game.
That's
it's still a game.
That's why they're introducing the all play line. Don't you think that they're going to keep pushing their regular line into more?
I think Madden will go more technical, and then they'll do all play versions on something. I mean, it's just Wii this year, but I'm sure we'll see
going to be, everything
all play on 360
Any of you guys
next year.
old Blitz fans?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because I got to play Blitz. Like, my preview went up, like, I guess the day before yesterday. The new Blitz.
Is this the confusingly titled Blitz 2 or whatever it is they're calling it?
It's Blitz the League 2. And like, I had this long discussion with those guys about how they're putting all this effort into the single player game, which has like the storyline. It's written by the guy who did the ESPN
what was that called?
Playmaker show.
I hear it has Exploding Testicles this year.
It does. It's disgusting, dude.
Nice.
It has this crazy...
What? That's what I heard.
It does.
Back of the box.
Testicles.
Bullet point. Exploding.
It fully does.
Exploding
it's
testicles.
disgusting.
Front of the box Starburst. Now with
not
PS3 version only. Exploding testicles.
Six-axis controlled.
When you're doing like one of those blitz tackles, and you come up on the ball carrier. You can
Explode his testicle.
You can target different body parts based on. So like you're coming like what was the Nina game? You remember that?
Death by Degrees.
Death by Degrees.
God.
James Milky.
Oh,
big,
God.
Big fan.
I'm having flashbacks. Start talking about something else.
We had a really pretty cover of that.
I had to review it. Let's talk about something else.
No. Can we go back to the exploding testicles?
So like you're coming up on a dude from the front or whatever, and like there's 3 or 4 target spots, and you use the left stick and select. You can select his junk, and
wow.
And as you
and blow up his junk.
as you tackle him, you like bang on the X button to increase the intensity of your hit, and you can fully smack his junk, dude. You
Wow.
rupture
like the
testicle.
NFL.
It gets better. It gets
Midway really hasn't lost it, have they?
when you go to the sideline.
How are they losing money?
I know. How is this possible?
It gets better when they go to the sideline. The trainer has to stick the needle of cure-all, whatever it is, steroids, minigame, in his crotch.
And he grows his nuts back.
And he grows his nuts back.
Oh, Midway, fucking genius. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have to say, actually, it's funny. Like we're making fun of it. Blitz was actually fun. I had a good time playing it. It's kind of fun, actually. It's very like old school Blitzy. It has like the late hits back in it, where you can get up off the ground, run around, and go smack somebody. It's kind of fun.
I think it's actually a really good idea because of all of the NFL. Madden's never going to do any of the kind of seedier side stuff. I mean, ESPN, even that show had to get taken off the air, right?
Yep.
Because they were talking
It was
about
super controversial.
drugs and everything that actually happens, and that's what that game is, right? It's like
It's
all,
absolutely.
And they're not
It's all
doing
about that
an
part, actually.
NFL tour this year, right? Isn't that done now, that franchise?
God, I hope so. That game was.
Because, I mean, the EA Sports...
Mark, do it for me. That game was.
I'm not going to do that.
Do it.
No, you're turning me into a joke.
That's why you're here.
Oh.
Mark is not your fucking puppet.
Go to tape. Yeah, I was like, wait, what am I doing?
Denied.
Mark, you're not a performing monkey.
Denied. Blitz is fun. Blitz is fun. Like, why do you hate on that?
I'm not hating on it.
Okay.
I'm just saying that the exploding testicles
Yeah, that
seems
part-
a little unnecessary.
It is. It's kind of funny. It is sort of unnecessary at the same time. Like that's
sort of.
Yeah, but
John, testicles are exploding every day in the NFL. Don't kid yourself, okay? Don't kid yourself.
This game, in the context of this game, it's almost acceptable because it's just all of it's like that. Like there are guys getting their arms and legs violently broken that you take over to the sideline. You're like, oh, I'm going to set the bone. Oh, you're fine. Let's go back to play.
You get your eye ripped out like in Any Given Sunday?
No.
You remember that scene?
Good idea.
It's funny you mention that. We've been talking about that movie all day because everyone in our office was like comparing Brett Favre to Dennis Quaid's character in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't Cameron Diaz terrible in that film? She was awful.
Anyway.
But that movie is so good.
I like that film.
That movie is so good.
Pacino yells a lot.
He's-
Yeah, he just yells.
Should we keep going with sports and get it over with?
Yeah, sure. What else?
I've been playing Power Pro Baseball
I watch you playing this,
for the Wii.
and the music is abysmal.
Well, it's the worst part of the game. Other than that,
Wait,
How
is it
Power Pro?
dun,
Because there were two
dun,
kiddie
dun, dun,
baseball games this week. Is Power Pro
Power
is
Pro
the 2K1 with Konami, right?
That's the. I will butcher this pronunciation.
It is
Jiki, how do you say that?
shockingly deep.
I don't know. Don't look at me.
oh yeah, it's one of the
Jiki Pro,
deepest
whatever.
baseball games.
It's like you think it's going to be
Ever.
this cartoony little Wii Sports baseball game, and it's got like
no,
a.
you got pitching charts, and you can
Yep.
do like.
There's a career.
very-
The career mode's really deep.
It's like 2 different career modes. There's a career mode where you're starting off in the MLB like right away, and it's your first year, and you start from spring training, and you play the entire like real season. And then there's a second mode where you start in AA, and then you have to like build your way up, get called up to AAA. You have to buy new gear. You have to like manage your money, and you
It has
get
a
called
full,
up to the
full
majors.
general management mode, and then you have to send the player, and the players get jobs sort of in the off
you get
season.
jobs, and you have to like pay for food to replenish your
awesome.
Well,
vitality.
meanwhile, everything is like sub-me type graphics. They don't have mouths or legs. It's like
but that's true. But at the same time, they really did capture like very like distinct pitching and batting styles and like facial hair. So like Prince Fielder's like a really big round ball.
He's just the he's the Rayman
He's a big
version.
butterball.
He's the Rayman version
Yeah.
of Prince
I mean,
Fielder.
this franchise has been around for 20 years.
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
That's
Right.
Yeah.
It came here first as RBI baseball years
Right.
and years ago. So
And-
there's a lot of history and depth in that series.
But you know what disappoints me is we're not getting the DS version last time I heard.
I don't know about that.
It's
I just
3D
haven't
actually.
seen
And
it
it was-
the DS one's coming.
Is it? Because
Yeah.
I got to play both of them at TGS, and I was like, wow, the DS version, this seems like a natural fit to
And
me.
I remember the DS version actually had like more strategic shit in it that the other
Yeah.
versions didn't.
Yeah.
The DS version seems like a really natural fit.
I've been playing on the Wii. I haven't been able to try the motion control stuff yet. It's only available in exhibition. So
Why is that?
I don't know.
That's
It's
odd.
weird.
Well, it has. I mean, it has this sort of more kind of old school batting reticule type system that it uses.
It just shows you the.
This
the
is
basic
more
strike
about
zone.
baseball than I've ever spoken about in my entire life.
I know, I was
surprised
gonna
to be
say.
like, engaging you the most.
Right.
Yeah.
John prepped for this podcast.
Mark, aren't you glad to come be on the Sports Anomaly?
Yeah, seriously. What, is this what one up yours
Yakka,
is now?
yakka. Breaking
Before you
news.
leave the yaks
We're getting
behind,
it out of the way.
I thought the hitting thing was pretty cool because I like the teardrop shape
Yeah.
that they did to represent the bat zone because I
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool
Once
because that's naturally representing the way the sweet spot is on a bat.
Once you first start out, it's very difficult because you have to be able to read the pitch, like coming out of the pitcher's hand, and you have to know
It's like real baseball.
very exactly when to swing. So it really
Wait, coming out of the
sucks at
pitcher's hand?
beginning. Well, no, you get like
But the ball.
a little ball that represents his hand.
Yeah.
The smaller ball, the bigger ball comes out of the smaller
Yeah,
ball.
but once you do like batting practice and play some of the season, I really picked it up. Like I'm batting 387 through the season with Ryan Braun right now.
Hey-o.
From the Brewers, and you
Brewers.
go through the slumps. Like I've had really really cold streaks, and it's really frustrating. But it's not like a game problem or a control problem. It's like I'm really not reading the ball right. I'm swinging too early. I'm getting impatient.
Skip,
things
does
like
it
that.
does it have the meow, boink pitch from RBI Baseball Pass? The fucking screw you over
There
ball?
are change-ups in the dirt. Yes, they don't
Really?
have the sound effect, but
You know what the Wii would be perfect for? A basketball game.
maybe
What do you
what?
mean maybe? What do you
what?
mean?
the Trey Parker Matt Stone movie.
Oh my God!
You never saw it?
No, I saw it, but like me and 100 other people did. Like it's like 10 years ago. What do you?
It is a dated
But
reference.
suddenly it clicked for me. Okay, so there.
Does
I
that
just
bring
think-
the sports portion of the afternoon to a
There you go.
conclusion?
This part of the sports portion of the show has been brought to you by the 2008 Olympics. Shane, you don't have any data for us?
Actually, my Olympic fever was beaten down by the Chinese policemen who beat down the people in line for tickets.
What?
You didn't hear about this?
Political hour.
Political hour? Well,
Like last week, like 30,000 Chinese people camped in line for 3 days to buy tickets, and they were like beaten down by the police when they
for wanting
surged.
tickets?
Yeah,
wow, that's
it was sad.
actually kind of sad.
I know.
The way you just brought this podcast down.
Yeah.
Someone bring it back. John, bring it back.
Uh,
It's all on you.
all
You're,
on
you're
your
so
shoulders.
handsome without the beard. You're like you look.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's like
I was gonna
no
say.
beard. It's the no beard. He's looking very. I don't know.
I had a beard for
Svelte.
10 years.
Young.
He does look
Yeah.
very young.
It's coming back.
Why are
I
you
wanna-
like? Yeah, I look young. Like it's good. That's a
No,
good thing.
I look like 12. I'm not really like.
You are totally getting some when you go home tonight, aren't you?
I wouldn't bet on it. My
Yeah.
mother-in-law's in town.
Oh, well. Well, never mind
I've
then.
been playing.
Sorry, I thought the
I have
whole
been
youth
playing
thing
all
was-
exactly the same stuff as I talked about last week. So that's not very interesting.
No
Soul
new,
Calibur.
no new iPhone games?
No, it's
No?
just Soul Calibur and an awful lot of Geometry Wars 2 when I can find the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
yes.
5 o'clock in the morning.
So are we going to do the Geometry Wars 2 chat now?
Yeah. Did you guys talk? You didn't talk about it last
We haven't
week?
chatted it up
We did
too
a little
much.
bit,
We're going to do
but
it.
I
This
have-
is going to be the big one.
I definitely have a favorite mode, and it's not the one I thought it was going to be.
It's pacifism.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Huh. Interesting.
It's-
I don't know. That was my favorite one to start out with, but it's also the one that's most infuriating when something random happens.
Have you seen Damion's score?
Yes,
And that
I
shit-
don't know how he got
My God.
61 million or something.
65 million.
Wait, I thought Nick Sutner said he had like 150 or something last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Has he gone up?
He just told me that.
He's a savant.
Smile on his face. Yeah.
How? That's what?
It's
Yeah.
absurd.
I don't get it.
It's still not. It's still not the
my
real
favorite
game.
It's not my favorite mode anymore.
See, for me, passive. We were talking about this, like, and Jason Bertrand agreed with me. Is like for every good game of pacifism, there's like 3 or 4 where you're like 0, 1,000.
Oh yeah, there's like
1,500,
you have ones
0.
where you like end up hitting the end of the thing instead of going through the gate. You hit
Hit
the end
the
of the
end.
gate, driving
All the time,
fucking
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, in general, as like a huge fan of Geometry Wars 1, playing 2, and I just played it today for the first time. I played it for like an hour. Like it reminded me like Geometry Wars is still like a special thing. Like so many double stick shooters came out after it that I actually
Yeah.
started thinking like, you know, they've kind of done everything they could do with double stick shooters, and I even really liked Super Stardust.
Well, it was funny when I first played Geo2. I was like, "What's the boost button?" I was like, "How do you boost?"
Right.
There is no
right.
boost. Oh, okay.
But I was just like, you know what? What are the enemies going to be? You know, dodecahedrons this time instead, or whatever.
Ooh,
but
hold on.
They're just gonna be
dicks. Could you look up dodecahedron for me? Because I'm not really sure.
but
what that
I
is.
when I started playing it, you know,
12
the
sides.
Okay.
really I didn't even know.
I'm a dodecahedron.
The gate enemies that, you know, you go through the gate and they blow up, the how they reflect things, you get bonus points for that, how the gravity wells now explode, take things with them for bonus points. All of that stuff, like I can already tell, like there's all this like depth and subtlety and stuff to it where it's already, you know, grabbed me like these other dual stick things.
I
just
really like
don't.
Galaxies when it came to the Wii and DS one, and I think that they've taken the best parts of Galaxies and sucked it into this because
They also included waves.
yeah, well, Galaxies had waves in it as
did
well. So, but I think the execution on waves in 2 is even better because of the way that it starts blending stuff together and some of the achievements are just insane.
I got Wax Off finally.
I got Wax
nice.
Off the other
What is
night as
that?
well. But
what is
apparently the
It's in,
ultimate one is Smile.
Yeah, that's when you have to get the right ones in sequence, where you have to like actually intentionally fail them or let time come out.
What?
So you know how the sequence grid is like 4x4 or 5x5 or something? You have to make it like a smiley face on the ones.
You paint a smiley face
Yeah.
on the sequence
Yeah.
grid. By oh my god.
And the numbers are listed in the achievements, like which ones you have to get.
Oh, that's the one that has the numbers. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
1,
yeah.
2. Oh,
So what's the
Wax
wax
on
off?
and wax off is in pacifism. Wax on is you have to go along the border, and then
Nice.
wax off
And
is you have to
paint the
you have to
entire
paint the
outside,
entire outside of
and
the
then you have
border.
to go and unpaint it.
That's wax off, and you have to do it within the same game.
Nice.
You know,
Awesome.
I've been thinking a lot about Geometry
Brilliant
Wars.
achievement.
And I think like one of the very, very, very core elements of its appeal is that it is the online embodiment of the arcade experience. Because the arcade experience for a lot of us was going to the arcade and seeing your initials on that top 10 list, right? You were looking for whatever you put in, and that's the way this shit is on online
It's
leaderboards.
it's what they said Xbox Live was going to be. It was going to be being constantly aware of what your friends were doing, and the number of times you see people's Facebook updates and Twitter updates where they're just obsessing on
Guy.
I stayed up till 3 a.m. so I could beat the following 3 people, and then that
Right.
motherfucker beat me before while I was asleep.
How genius
it's like-
is that, though? Having the next person for you to beat
the
always
upper right.
up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
It is
like
super
I was like,
genius.
what the hell is that up there? It was like it was
Suzanne
Castlevania or
asked me the
something.
same thing when I was playing.
Yeah, no, it's awesome, especially because when you start off, you're like, well, there's no fucking way I'm gonna stop before that person has a fucking higher score than me. Like I can't even leave my Xbox 360 with having a lower score than that person. So I have to get to a certain spot. But I was surprised as a really hardcore old Geometry Wars player. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the basic strategy of the old game, right, was flying and dodging, meanwhile shooting behind you at everything that was chasing you.
Opposite direction now.
Right, but now it's switched around
Fully
because
forward.
you got to get all the
geoms?
fucking crystals,
Yep.
and also because your spread doesn't go as wide,
Yep.
which I'm still kind of getting used to that. I don't know if I
Does
like
it
that as
eventually-
much.
Maybe it eventually upgrades to.
No,
It doesn't.
no,
It doesn't go as wide. I mean, it got to the point. Well, actually, Galaxies they took it all away, and some of the weapons in Galaxies was you could wipe out half the screen in one go. It was spread out so far, but this one it keeps it really narrow. But actually, the strategy in this seems to be the exact opposite of the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
Where you have to go head on into
Exactly.
That was my-
these insane situations, and the best possible thing is just to go straight into things,
Blasting
firing
like a
forward.
crazy
yeah.
person.
That was my breakthrough moment when I was having these frustrating low scores. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go straight through and carve my way through and just
Yep.
hope for the best. And that's what got me the higher scores.
That is definitely a key. So after all that about the high score thing, I'm not sure I like that. I'm not sure I like it because I am hyper competitive already in the first place, and just having that just makes me that.
It's the whole reason to play this game.
I know.
So,
But that I'm
It
not
also
sure.
makes it impossible to just play for 5-10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
You end up playing. I mean, time disappeared for me the other night. I mean, it was suddenly it was 2 a.m. and I'm like,
Like fuck's sakes, what am I doing
what
up
the hell
at 2 a.m.?
happened?
Yeah.
It's so easy to start a new game. Just
Right.
Hey, boom,
Exactly.
Back into it.
Well, just the refresh from if you're playing pacifism, the refresh from dying to starting again is so fast
Negligible,
now
right.
that you're just and you don't even have time to get angry at yourself.
Speaking of which, I had forgotten the just wild, white-hot animal rage that only Geometry Wars brings about.
Oh, and it does.
Right? That first time you start thinking I'm having a good game. I'm having a good boom. And it's almost like it's happened and then you're alive again and you're just like,
And for me, it's always,
cock ass.
it's always the purple ones that break into two. It's always
Oh,
those little breaks
those little ones.
coming out of nowhere.
Yes.
these guys. Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm really impressed with the enemies they come up with. They're different. Another thing that actually changes the strategy from from Geometry Wars 1 is, at least in Geometry Wars 1, when you got pretty good, you would start doing laps, right? You'd get in a groove and just start doing laps.
Yeah, don't do that on this one.
Well, and I think what stops it on this one, and I've only gotten like 23 or 12 million, but those waves of the rockets that start and then go and then start and then go and go like that.
The ones
Like
that have
waves.
a
In a big
fixed
row.
path.
I
Wipes.
think kind of screw that up because you kind of have to turn around. You can't just be going in a set pattern that way because you're going to run smack into them. You have to turn around once you realize they're going to come from that direction. So, yeah, I'm just totally impressed, totally addicted again. Wish I was playing it right now.
Have you seen the video on GV of the stop action thing where you can turn and look through it in 3D?
You can't play that way though.
No, you can't play that way. But
You can look at it, right?
yeah, you can so you can turn. So take the flat plane
Right.
and lay it down. In
You
front of
pause
you.
the game,
Pause
basically?
it, yeah. I don't know exactly how you do it. We have the cheat up on
You
Geek
press
Video.
the code.
It's the back
It's a
button
debug
on one
thing.
of the bumpers.
And then all of it, instead of being 2D flat, is all represented in 3D, and you can like sort of zoom the camera around, and it's really kind of
Interesting.
It's kind of cool looking. It's kind of a prelude maybe of what they're thinking about for the next one.
No, it was just a
No, I hope-
debugger
I
thing.
hope
They
not.
They forgot to take it out. Like when the news broke, the guy from Bizarre was like,
Oh.
I thought I got that. Oh, well, enjoy."
It's cool. I think it's really cool. I'm glad it was in there. I think it's really neat, like graphical thing. It's cool. All right, so Geometry
And then
Wars, we all love it.
Soul Calibur. Which I've played both versions now, and I have to say that the PS3 version seems harder.
Harder.
Harder?
Because I was able to beat The Apprentice with Yoda fairly easily, and it took me forever with Darth Vader.
Were you playing
Maybe you
on
were just sharper with you.
hard?
Yeah,
or-
I mean, it was just
Yeah, I
a
was playing
character
hard on
thing.
both of them, but it just seemed that
Apprentice is really hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
and particularly with Darth Vader, but with Yoda because he's faster and he can duck underneath.
Have you played online on 360?
No,
Because
no,
I
no.
asked last week, hey, does it have voice chat during the matches? And somebody on our message board was like, it does. So
Yeah.
apparently it does.
I know Sean Elliott's been playing it online, and he's been bragging about it's like playing really well online.
Yeah, I played a bunch more PS3 online over the weekend, and I still encounter once in a while some slowdown. And instead of slowdown, it's like the game stops for a second and starts again for lag. But yeah,
That's a better way to handle it, I think.
In general, I'm impressed by how well it runs.
and
The biggest
2 million
complaint-
copies.
Yeah, it's impressive sales. We don't
Yeah.
have that news, but
Sold or
Shipped to
shipped?
retailers.
Right. Okay.
the tower is the tough spot. I mean, Andrew, you're not the only one who's told me. Like the consistent thing I've heard around the office is how hard the tower
Well,
game
you
is.
have
Was I
to-
telling you that? Because I was up late last night, like trying to get past floor.
Dude, like
12 or
everybody's been
something.
talking
You
about
have
that.
to equip items because
Yeah.
your items do you work in that in that thing. So you need to get items that give
Well,
you abilities.
Jason, when he did the video where he did Superman and everything, he said that he earned all that stuff because he got to like level 36 in the tower or
Yeah.
something
Wow.
crazy.
I mean,
And
that's
it
also the
gets
thing.
hard.
The character creation's really hot. I feel bad because as much as I love Soul Calibur, my personal version I bought is actually still sitting in the shrink wrap at home.
Yeah, like-
there's too much to play. There's too much to play right
all
now.
weekend, dude, you could have come out and fought me, but you didn't because you're a coward.
All weekend you
Wow.
could have come and played Madden against me, but you didn't because you're
I don't have it.
a coward.
If you had it, would you play it?
No.
I used to play Madden.
Really?
Madden 93.
Wow. By the way, I haven't turned it on yet, but that's one of the things I want to do like this coming weekend is the 20th anniversary version has like Madden 93 on the disc.
Yeah?
We'll play in the 360. It's kind of weird. Anyway, Soul Calibur, we all love that too.
Still awesome.
Did anyone else play Braid this week?
I played a little bit.
I played it for like 5 minutes.
I played through the first 2 worlds last night.
Okay, that's cool. Did you get to the part that I saw Jay Fresh playing where when you're going one direction on the screen, it's forward time, but when you're going the other direction,
Yes.
it's back? That's
part of the
really cool.
Second or third.
Something I've noticed with Braid, I haven't played it at all yet, but something I've noticed with Braid is that when people get into it, they then won't shut up about it.
Yeah, we were.
So is that bad?
Mark and I were.
No, it wasn't aimed at you.
okay.
Because
Well,
you haven't.
not bad.
You clearly haven't reached that point yet. But
Well, yeah.
there is an insufferable
I don't
ball
have-
point with Braid.
I don't have that instant enthusiam for like some people in the office.
I would suggest
Nick,
not. I would
Sutner.
suggest not reading a Braid review if you want to play it, because if you
Yeah.
read a review, you won't want to play it. You won't want to talk to the people who wrote those
There
reviews.
are. I like the art style. I like how like subtle it is.
Okay, wait,
and
let me-
it's very
Do you like
kinda
the way-
say something about the
soft-
art
Do
style?
you like the way the character looks?
Yeah.
Not really.
No.
Because I will say this, and I just was playing the game today, and bear this in mind when I say this. I bought the game. I was really impressed by the demo. I'm like, and this almost never happens where I play it through the first time. The person's like, "Hey, if you want to unlock," I'm like, "Yes, unlock it. I want to buy it. Definitely worth the money for sure." I can already tell that, but the art style, while I like the background, the kind of watercolor,
Yeah.
like fading, the actual like characters and enemy themselves look like an Amiga like
Well,
yeah,
Zool from like
absolutely.
1991.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
expect to see like little candies and cakes like floating in the air and then picking them up.
That's a good comparison, Zool. Last night I erroneously compared it to Chug Rock. I realized this morning, no, it is Flink for the Sega CD, but not as good. Like go look at Flink. It's a British game.
Oh, I remember that.
Like the guy,
what is those old, very spritey looking kind of? Where
When you say not as good, you mean doesn't look.
It doesn't look as good,
right?
I mean, and like the weird thing about this game, it's a old school European looking platformer mixed with like Blinks meets Portal, really clever
Also
time
with,
puzzles.
like some Mario versus Donkey Kong in there too. Like the very like get the key to the door. How are you?
Right.
There was a level that was the old arcade Donkey Kong level. I was watching him play. I was like, "Holy crap!" And not only that, but the boss at the top looked sort of like an ape, and he had a barrel underneath him.
Well, that was
it's an homage. But apparently, there's with this game, I haven't played enough to get to them. But what will make you either a true believer in Braid or think it's a bunch of pretentious bullshit are like these short stories about the dude's ex-girlfriend or something.
I like how it's kind of serious, but there is definitely underlying pretension going on there.
Huh.
Right. I mean,
I got the homage thing, but like it wasn't working for me as an homage because it was so very close but not quite right that I wasn't.
Did you play it?
Yeah, I was checking out with Jay. Jay, let me play it for a second.
I mean,
I don't know, I wasn't feeling it.
I liked. I mean, obviously from the very start, there's the whole princess. She's in another castle. Like, there's a lot of like wink, inside jokes, and I like those. And I like that the story is actually trying to do something, and it's still optional, at least as far as I've played. Right. You run right by the books if you don't want to. I will say, after reading the first few books, it was kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm not quite sure I'm into. It did seem like very kind of a little. It's weird, right? It doesn't quite match what you think it's going to come from the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Which, I will say it's interesting. A lot of people are, I think, really going to like it exactly because of that. Yeah. But what really hooked me is, and you're right, Shane, when you say it's like a mechanic from Blinks, the time mechanic, at least insofar as the beginning of it, really is something that you've seen in Blinks. But Blinks, I mean, it didn't pull it off, right? This game, like from the very first time, there's like one of the first levels in the demo. There's those enemies that plop out of a cannon, and you have to use one in order to get a puzzle piece. It's optional on the side, but if you time it just right, and the timing is really hard, but if you time it just right, you jump as the enemy is flying out of the cannon. You're both in midair. You bounce off of it and get the puzzle piece. Kind of impossible to do your first time, but with the whole rewind mechanic, it just grabs you right from that. It's like, wait a second. Then every time from there on, every time you get, hit by something, you do whatever, you realize the power, and apparently it just uses that and there's lots of other mechanics too, like something with your shadow in later levels, and I've heard enough about it.
In some of the later levels, some of the things in the world aren't affected by time.
Right.
So you have to manipulate people, or you have to manipulate the monsters into bringing keys that aren't manipulated by time, and it's very layered.
So, question for you two guys, since you played a lot more of it, could part of the reason that I didn't get the homage be that I just walked by a station and picked up the controller and was like, oh, I'll just play a little bit of this? I mean, if I played it in the context of the whole game, would I be feeling it more?
Yeah.
Well, something interesting, and I don't know, maybe if I missed some like a tutorial or something on the help screen, but I didn't actually know. I mean, I kind of knew from seeing videos before that there was this time mechanic, but I didn't know that I had it yet. I didn't know how you activate it. And then the first time I died, he falls to the bottom and the little X button appears. And then I hit the X button and it rewinds. And part of what I actually like about it, and normally this would probably be a knock against a game, is I'm figuring stuff out on my own.
Exactly.
And it hasn't gotten complicated yet, of course, but it's all oh, wait a second. I wonder if how the height that you jump from is the thing that depends on how high you bounce. It's
I figured that
that's
out
it.
Too, yeah.
Right. So it's all of these little things that you're figuring out on your own from the very, basic mechanic, and it teaches you with some pictures about stuff like this is how you jump, this is how you, go up.
So you get the discovery
ladders.
sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. You feel like you're actually putting two and two together, not just for the puzzles, but at least at the beginning,
and it has that kind of arty indie vibe that so many of the PlayStation Network games have. It definitely seems like a conscious effort to reposition some of the Xbox Live stuff more like that.
I think it's definitely a good game, good price. I'm just afraid that the A+ 100% reviews it's getting, there'll be some backlash.
I got a ton of 10 out of 10.
Yeah, because not everyone is going to love the story and the graphics.
I will say, my druthers, I would have given it, if it had some, I don't know what art aesthetic, but if it had a really awesome, coherent art direction, I could see really going nuts for it. But I'm already really enjoying it. Definitely, happy to have bought it.
You live there, John?
I'm sorry.
I just like that Mark has druthers.
He does.
That's
also,
right.
Garnet, the name of that stage is called Jumpman. So
okay.
Directly.
So it's, obviously, then it's inappropriate for me to just walk by and pick up the controller and make a judgment like that.
Inappropriate.
So you know what came to mind while I was listening to this? You know what I want to see someone do with the
bodily excretion person do
Sorry.
What do you want to see somebody do, Garnet?
I want to see someone with XNA do Voodoo Vince. Voodoo Vince,
that
big
was an
underrated
game.
Way
Voodoo
underrated
doll
game.
Somewhere.
Wait, why are you grimacing, Mark? It was the concept. The concept.
What was that concept again? You hurt yourself
of manipulating what's going on in the game by like hurting yourself, right? Like by having you being a voodoo doll that you're doing shit to in order to like play into the game. It's a cool idea.
I kind of like that game.
I kind of liked it too.
I mean, I will say if
no one bought it.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody probably would have told me, like, well, we're going to make a 2D game that kind of took the thing from Blinks and going to use it right,
and they'd be like,
I'd probably be like,
then.
yeah, great, good luck with that.
Right.
You're doing it on PC, right?
So, right. So I shouldn't grimace when you say, Voodoo Vince, or Shane, you say Chuck Rock, remake, woefully underappreciated
Chuck Rock's
series.
maybe a little far in the past. Chuck Rock was...
Hell, Zool. Maybe it wasn't done right the first time. Maybe it's a gem,
Zool 2
was pretty good.
You know what's even crazier is like all this stuff we're talking about, and then think about just the potential, like the tip of the iceberg of what could be Little Big Planet. So.
Well, we'll get into that in a second. But
that's a crazy
other game Braid reminds me of is James Pond 2 RoboCod.
James Pond was the shit, dude. James Pond was the shit.
It doesn't remind you of that. You just wanted to mention.
Remember that awesome ad where he's like, Sonic, can you swim? Can you stretch up high? No, you can't. Get out of here.
Therefore, you are a worse game.
He's a goldfish wearing a tuxedo.
Fuck yeah, he was. Dude, I love me some James Pond.
The James Pond games were really good.
They were really good.
Wow. We're just going to have to agree to disagree right now.
You didn't like no James Pond?
Those guys now part of Sony.
RoboCod is actually really good, as I said. But yeah, I've been spending the whole week playing Little Big Planet, and Mark, you helped me out last night. So,
yeah.
And
it's
quite an adventure.
Yes.
There's a lot to take in.
There's a ton to take in.
The first thing that I made you do was this boss level. That's one of the pre-made levels, and it's pretty hard.
It is. And I mean, I think one of the first things, to be honest, that struck me was
besides the music,
which is awesome. But
crazy and insane. A lot of vocals.
It's like Loco Roco kind of like crazy. Like it's got its own, but it works with the art direction and everything. Where you're like, wow, like there's a whole coherent like aesthetic to the whole package. But and of course the first thing, and that was one of the harder levels that I was starting off on. But I was like, assuming that I could grab an edge on things because you're falling just barely past things a lot.
Well, and it depends on the materials. Some materials you can grab, others you can't.
Yeah, but even the one that I could grab, we couldn't figure out how to get me back up, and then you tried to help me and ended up falling in the poison yourself.
Yeah.
It's very tragic.
Well, you're using poison gas? That's just nasty.
That level is pre-made.
That is. Oh, that's nasty.
But I mean, it's almost like it's like clever overload. It's like so clever. Everything. That's all I can just keep thinking is like, oh my god, that's so clever. Like they just integrated that little. That's so fucking clever. Like blah blah blah. It's like that saying that to yourself like 100 times a minute at least the first half hour playing it. It's like, oh okay, then just another person jumps in, and this is a location that you can go with two people that you can't with one. And of course this is why, because the physics on the teeter-totter or whatever. And it's like your mind is just like. The possibilities, you're thinking while we're playing the single player game in the back of your mind the whole time, like, okay, what am I going to make like with my level? What am I going to make with my level? And you just keep like adding all of this stuff into it, and it's like, holy crap. Yeah. And then you actually start to make your level, which you with Shane and David Ellis were making one last night, and it looked like a fucking like construction site abortion.
Shane was playing it just before coming down. And I think Little Big Planet is going to be a very interesting psychology test.
Yes,
my
indeed.
Are you building your roller coaster that you?
No, I don't have all the stuff for that yet. Because another problem is, in order to make really cool things, you have to unlock them in single player. You have to find the pieces.
Okay.
So you can't make everything you want at first. You have to find.
So keep in mind, part of the idea there is that you don't bite off so much at the beginning that you can't chew and you get really frustrated with it.
Probably smart to do it that way because, like I say, it can be overwhelming. But at the same time, I think there are a lot of people that aren't probably gonna want to buy the game to dive right into the construction mode.
Well, you can't dive right in. You have to play the entire first level, like set of levels before you can even go to the edit mode.
Right.
But at this point, like Skip was saying, near the end of my level, I created this. I don't even know how to explain it.
It's a monster.
It's like a monster made out of all these different pieces that move, and I connected them all. So this big thing and you ride on.
It's like he invented perpetual motion.
Yeah, it's this giant monster then in my level that you like ride on and climb on, and then but sometimes it gets loose and like jumps back to the beginning of the level and like knocks the rest of my level over.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I think you should probably name your level. Like, I don't know how to describe this because a lot
Sounds
of
like
stuff
you made
in
Shadow
it.
of the Colossus.
It's a little bit.
You had like this big fucking just. I mean, it looks like something's gone horribly wrong in debug mode, or I don't know what. There's like chicken legs around and like a big twisty thing of metal and like a skateboard. And
You're in my level because I had the iToy hooked up.
Right.
Like
And there's like Lauren from the Hills in the background.
Your name is Shane Dream number 7.
There's areas where you can fall and can't get out of. And
No, I'm making a secret passageway down there.
oh, that's what that is.
That's where the secret.
I see. That's my secret. That's my secret.
But I've probably spent David Ellis and I probably spent a total of like 5 hours on that level, and it's to the point now. Like, a bunch of people played it. It's legitimately fun.
So have you been playing it? Have you been building
is
it
awesome.
cooperatively?
Yeah, we've been building a cooperative.
Is it really though? Is it legitimately fun if I know you and you're watching me play it, or is it legitimately fun if I download
I think if you download this level, you would be surprised and entertained.
You would think
It's
was.
going to be available at launch, right? You're going to make
You're
it.
going to put it up straight
Well,
away?
this won't be compatible with the final version.
But they're going to help. I think they actually said something about possibly being able to get it converted for you.
Well, it's only getting better. So
I think it is going to be for some people, and I've already seen some other online impressions where people are like, I just wanted to create this, and it's like, yeah, you want to do that right from the start, but no, you do have to learn like all of these things. It is going to take time, but I would much rather have it be that way and have the depth and functionality that comes with that, rather than have it be kind of a dumbed down, kind of simplified version that you could just instantly, plop in a skateboard, plop in a
You need
ramp.
that element of, look, here's what you can do.
Well, and
Right.
within the first 5 minutes of you playing it, I was like, hey, a major website this week likened this to PowerPoint and said it wasn't fun. And like, I think that's an obscene comparison.
Well, who did that?
retarded.
I think it was Games Radar said that.
Really?
No.
Or Game Daily?
Game Daily.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
In what
Interesting.
respect? What do they mean?
I just don't.
by that?
I disagree. I mean, I could see. I guess
a
where
Did
you're
they
caught
mean
up in that.
it was
It's a
like you have to
really weird
learn it,
op-ed.
like AutoCAD?
They were like,
sorta?
it's as fun as PowerPoint. It's like, oh, you make a presentation, that's really fun. I mean, it was very dismissive like that,
Yeah, and then your friends actually play your presentation. Like what?
So I think people who think it's like inaccessible or scary. No, like when you play the pre-made levels, it's very fun and like polished.
Right.
And then
Right.
when you start making your level, it's not that hard to create little things that are impressive and personalized.
Right, and the beauty of it is fine. Never make your own level. Never open the editor ever. There are going to be crazy freaks out there.
Oodles of content.
Yeah, and then all they do is from the day they get it is I'm gonna make Super Mario World 1, 2 or whatever,
Right.
and like I'm gonna make the fucking ghost ship.
People are going to remake all the Super Mario Brothers on here.
All of that
obviously.
stuff. It's gonna be
People are gonna-
everything.
But you know what's going to be
God
most
of
interesting
War.
is to see how people creatively adapt what's going on in the game, because I'm not sure that even Media Molecule knows everything can be done. One of the things that I was shown, that Alex showed me, that helped me get an idea for what the potential here is, was a simple level that a tester had done. There was just a vertical space, but he had used the mechanics system in the game to build this construct that had a bunch. You can do gears and motors and all this stuff. So basically, what he had done, he had built a level where new barriers were coming up from the bottom all the time.
There's a level like that in the.
It's in the final game.
Oh, so you put it in the game.
Well, so there's
where the slots,
Yes.
and you're jumping down through there, right?
yeah. So you're just
the
trying-
guy built that in 20 minutes.
Well, and there's a lot of things like that.
That surprises me that he
There's-
built it in 20
well,
minutes.
There's another one where you're like jumping a rope.
He's a tester, though. I mean,
Right,
There's one where
right.
you're jumping a rope. There's a bunch of little challenges where it's just like, see how many times you can do this one thing, like survival. What you like into like a Mario Party mini game. That's what they are.
Yeah,
So-
that's what that
So
turned
yeah,
into,
you
right?
can make a platforming level with like a boss and enemies, or you can make like a single screen puzzle action level.
But I want to see, people making like little, like people are gonna make little mini like action RPG kind of things.
who knows what
and
they're
like,
going to do?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm curious to see the mechanical stuff, because that level, to finish that thought,
Yeah.
that made me realize that, without sounding too up my ass about it, like there's a potential for people to do very inventive, like creative, build your own machine sort of things
Oh, yeah.
inside here, and
Sure.
see what happens with the level.
Well, I mean, and the thing we're talking about, my big monstrosity, I mean, it was just a bunch of moving pieces.
Is it like that?
And it has a fucking mind of its own. It's like leaping around, moving things. And it just showed me, like, when people really go nuts with this, they'll be able to make, like, Rube Goldberg contraptions that are the entire level where it's incredibly complicated.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
And we should probably say, like, because a few other things that I did notice for the first time actually playing in this context. I don't know what the other builds have been like, and this build's not final, but when we were messing around with it, with 2 people in the edit mode,
it slows down.
But it ran mostly pretty good.
Pretty well.
With 3 people, it almost, when it wasn't slowing down, it was almost kind of like too much going on the screen for you to kind of keep track and that sort of thing. So 2 people collaborative things might end up being kind of the best balance between
4 people working on the same level could get a little crazy.
Right.
Well, and the other issue we faced is how it zooms the screen to scale in.
Yeah.
And if you lose someone behind, who dies, who survives.
Right.
And that happens in the regular game and in the editor. Like, it's kind of it, and hopefully they're addressing that, because that was one of the first things that we noticed. It's kind of weird how it chooses or doesn't
it seems
scroll.
like the first player usually gets priority, and the first player, when you're editing, he's the one who can rewind it. So if your friends do something you don't like, you can always rewind it.
And the rewind thing is again total genius.
Yeah,
like,
you have to have it
in the editor thing. It's basically like having an easier undo with all that many levels.
Of undo, yeah.
And Forge is awesome. I loved it in Halo. It was a good first thing, but that was something where it was like, it was really frustrating when you'd forget to save or do something else, and you couldn't iterate easily back and forth. It's such a easy, and everything's so friendly, and there's a thermometer on the side that shows you, where everything is so thought out and integrated right from the opening movie, which is not even done.
Yeah, it's not even done, but it's cute. Yeah.
It's smart. It's all super cool.
By the way, you know the Media Molecule guys all listen to the show, right?
Oh, well.
Did you know that?
That's great.
They really do. They really do. They've sent us notes and stuff before, so they'll be very happy to hear you.
Well, if they're
praising
listening, I can't find the fucking respawn portal to put in my levels to where, like,
really?
I haven't found it yet.
So there are a few things
bummer.
where it's like, how do you make things float? And it's like, well, I don't really know.
I think I have to learn that yet. You have to learn it. Yeah.
And you can do it, and there are tutorials, and there's a great voice that walks you through a lot of it, super friendly, but a lot of
He's the guy from Hitchhiker's Guide.
Right.
October 15th.
So, I think the latest number is October.
I think this is definitely top of my games I want to play this year list.
And today, like, anybody who I invited by to try my level, which was like several people, like Alice was like, I need this game immediately.
Yes.
I'm like, you want to play with it.
Right. I think what's fascinating is it won't be just this year. I think it'll be next year, and maybe even the year after that. I think that you'll see an amazing amount of ongoing development, because this is one of those games that it's just a tool. On one hand, it's just a tool, and as people add more content into it, like you were saying, Mark, how much stuff is going to be made in there?
And that's what I mean. I think I just stopped and said as we were playing is like, can you imagine what is going to happen when there's just 10, there's more levels out there than you even have time to try. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just going to be anything you can think of, things themed on TV shows, things around movies, things themed around, internet memes, anything that happens is going to be, Little Big Planetized.
And multiple exits. That's another cool thing, because on the single player map, when it's like Mario World, when you go to something, it shows you, there's an exit you didn't find yet from this level. So in your levels, you can build all these alternate paths.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So what did they say? You guys, I'm sure, I've been a little out of it recently as far as the how much space you have to put up your levels, and certain people are going to be allowed more space if you are a preferred level creator or something.
I don't know if you looked at it when you pick my planet, where you make all your little levels. There's these little craters on the moon where you place levels.
Mm-hmm, right.
And I'd have to count how many there are, but it looks like there's 25 or 30 that you have.
And those aren't on your hard drive. Those are on that you're putting up on the internet, or so two separate things?
Those are presumably the same. It's your world with your. And that's what people see is your planet.
Right.
So I guess you have that much space right now. But yeah, they say that if you're really good, you'll get more space.
Right. Interesting.
It's a little unclear.
Have they talked about if there's going to be kind of a rating system where the users get to review?
Yeah. In fact, at E3 we got to see, because the Sony internal beta they have online right now, and we actually got to play levels that were being made by these people, and you could leave notes for them like, hey, your level can't be finished, you should do this. And you could give them suggestions. And, yeah.
Awesome.
So
yeah,
it's good shit.
Cannot wait.
Garnet looks like he's holding back something.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, Garnet, I heard you know something. I heard you know something about something.
Pregnant with information.
Garnet's not saying
Why don't we ask our Media Molecule listeners to tune? Shouldn't you guys go finish the game or something for an hour? And Garnet, why don't you talk about what you know about the secrets still left?
When Alex said that he can't wait to tell you more, I hope people don't overplay that because he's not going to tell you about another game. I mean, the game is what the game is. The creation part is the creation part, and the playing part is the playing part.
It's not like fucking Sweet Tooth in it or something lame like that, is it?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No,
because if it is, it's just like
Blasto's coming back.
Just tell me now. Just tell me now.
Yes.
You could totally drive Sweet Tooth's car.
These, like you said, everything is really creative when you look at it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just keep in mind that everybody at Media Molecule is super creative, and if you can think of something and think to yourself, you know what would be really cool if they did this in the game?
Colossus boss from Shadow of
They
the Colossus?
probably thought of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whether it pertains to in-game content, whether it pertains to how the game interacts with you as a person, what kind of stuff goes on in it, what you're able to build with, where you're able to share it, just every part of it, they've probably thought about it.
I'm still blown away that the game was made by 26 people, by the way.
Right.
And they have a very, very, and I guess the one thing that's exciting, I don't know whether they've talked about this, but they have a very, very long-term plan for the game. Like, as far as, I don't know if they've talked about this or not, so, I don't think it's really
So let's talk about it.
They're not planning. They're not planning to ship Little Big Planet and start on the next project.
Right.
They're planning to ship Little Big Planet and then
support it,
and then be all about Little Big Planet because I think they're really into.
So it's more of an MMO type mentality than a.
Oh, that's a good way of putting
mentality.
it. That's a really good way of putting it.
So here's my question: how do they make more money on it going forward? I mean,
I don't know, dude. That's an accountant's question.
No.
Microtransactions?
But I mean, it's not. I mean, it's a question for people that are interested in the game. It's a question for me too. Like, do they release? I mean, do you know anything? Are they releasing like packs and bundles for sale of stuff that you can use in your levels and that kind of stuff? Are they, new costumes, more server space? Yeah, you can put a McDonald's, Jamba Juice
you can buy
stand in your level and
Axe body spray level.
Goddamn, actually, that's a little scary because I can see that actually happening.
It's a really fledgling industry in general. Like if you go to look at this is something we talked about in the news stories where we cover this stuff. You go and look at video, which is very similar sort of space. Like there's all kinds of stuff out there. There's ad supported.
Sony 2 weeks ago already announced their in-game advertising initiative. I got to think Little Big Planet's going to be the core of that. You can have your Axe body spray and that funny little scrubby thing that they sell as well.
Oh God!
You think the core really? I don't know.
I will say there are no real products currently in Little Big Planet. You can't get a can of Coke or anything.
And they might wind up there. I mean,
come on.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with it,
sure,
though.
they'll probably wind up there, but who cares?
I mean, a can of Coke,
you don't have to
when
take
it falls
them.
over, Coke
No, I don't think it's a bad thing.
I
think it would be monumentally stupid of them to not do it.
Right.
You know what would be really cool? So you asked about how they make money. What if they let the Coke guys, let the Coke marketing team make Coke levels?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
And then you play the Coke level and you get the Coke can to drop in your own thing, and they've sold it as an ad, and there you go.
Or
there's going to be gazillions of those things.
Right. While we're going nuts, there's a button or an option that lets you upload your video to YouTube, but it uploads it to Media Molecule's YouTube, so every view they get the advertising or something like that.
Wow, that's a lot of structure, though. Do you think?
No, but some games are doing that. This game actually needs that. I hope they're at least thinking about that for the future, because a one-button upload your video to somewhere, whether it's their website or Sony's website or your fucking home 60-foot, big screen TV that no one's ever gonna look at, to put it somewhere, I think would be really smart to integrate.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second, though.
Sure.
You play a lot of games on Xbox Live Arcade or Xbox Live. Think about the retards there, how catty that shit gets. Do you really want people just using your game to upload that shit and then have it it's still your game? Do you really want kids cursing and acting idiotic over the top of your game?
Wait, what do you? I'm just talking about
if someone was to if they had an instant upload button. So imagine now 3 or 4 13-year-old 12 no age retards. We're not supposed to use that word. Whatever. A bunch of yahoos get together, make something really dumb in
bunch of wackadoodles.
Right. in Little Big Planet. Which, by the way,
that was for you, Mark.
Which, by the way, they didn't talk about it a lot, but they have lip syncing to the sack.
Skip to the end.
Yeah.
So
where are we going with this, Dennis?
They go in and do something really dumb and post it up on the site. And at the end of the day, the news story that shows up on Reuters or whatever is Little Big Planet used for such and such story.
You got to take the good with the bad. It's there's idiots on YouTube too, but they still have comments.
But YouTube doesn't give them the camera. It just gives them the spot to do it.
Right. But So yeah, I mean they could do it with any game.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, they could do it with any game.
Yeah.
They could do it with any game.
I'm not sure I understand what you're talking about.
Adam, new topic.
Yeah. I was just wondering, how do you handle people who are going to create crazy content in a game?
Boobies and dicks. That's what you want to say. Right?
Boobies and dicks are easy. I mean, you just shuffle that.
Wait, what are you thinking about people are going to do in Little Big Planet? Like reenact the Holocaust or something?
Actually,
I mean, what is?
Wait, were you getting excited there, Shane?
No, I wasn't getting excited, but some of the stuff you need is already in there for that.
What?
There's like an oven you can get and stuff.
Oh God! All right.
No, I put it to my level.
We should have ended this 5 minutes ago.
Edit this all out. But Garnet, what are you talking about? If not for boobies and dicks, what are you worried about? There must be some real sinister
No, not sinister. I mean, like the part like boobies and dicks people dismiss really quickly, right? But what about someone who
too quickly sometimes?
They got into a real weird area.
They can have artistic merit. Also.
Garnet, don't dismiss the side boob from LC in my level.
Yeah. How about the bottom boob on the cover of EGM?
Neathage in there as
well.
Dude,
you got some great bottom boob working on the EGM cover.
Oh, we do, yeah.
So Shane, what else you been playing?
Well, that's really it. However,
because the hour and a half.
However, I'm headed to the Midwest for a Midwest family PR tour, and I'll be playing the Castlevania Order of Ecclesia.
Wait, are you going on? Are you here next week?
I'll be back on Thursday. Yeah.
Oh, because I'm on vacation next week.
Maybe I'll be on vacation then too.
We could have a vacation. Andrew, you could put together the all vacation show.
Open
mic night.
Open mic hour.
I'll be back.
So Shane, have you played any Order of Ecclesia?
I played the first 3 levels at E3.
So
it's fantastic. It's the Simon's Quest meets Symphony of the Night I've been dreaming of.
Really? Do people talk about like Dracula's? Do people give you clues that make no sense at all?
I explored a town, went to people's houses.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
And then was sent to a forest to rescue captured children, which I've never done in a Castlevania game.
Nice.
So the fact that Igarashi had new shit, made me excited because he's a little. You're laughing.
What
You're
laughing
at?
What are you laughing at?
You were just excited because
about capturing children. I mean rescuing captured children.
Now
that's Skip. Have you seen his shirt? What does his shirt say?
Hey, don't try to deflect attention on away from
I want
your
someone to read
sexual.
It's Rusty's Day Camp for Boy Adventurers.
Boy Adventurers.
So I will say, like from the video, the effects looked really, really good. I mean, from the E3 video, that's all I've seen.
Yeah,
of
I mean,
it.
and if you're someone who thinks I've played 10,
see, I kind of am that.
I've played
like
10
that.
Metroidvanias. Do I really need another one? You do. You really do. You need this one.
Okay.
It's harder. Like the combat's better.
What system?
DS.
Oh.
It's faster. It's deeper.
You're playing as a chick. Anyway, it's good.
Should we move on?
I want to play Metrovania.
Yes, let's move on.
Let's move on. We got 4-minute warning coming up, so stick around. On the other side of this fantastic break, we'll be back with 4-minute warning. All right, welcome back. We're ready to do the 4-minute warning. Andrew, do it again. In addition to having our direct from Akihabara Nintendo
coin.
I thought you were talking about Mark McDonald.
I did too. I'm like,
Sorry.
Oh God, what are you talking about? Where are you going with this, Garnet?
Direct from the Maid Cafe.
That was direct from Seattle.
Oh, well. In addition to having our direct from Seattle coin, there's tons of them there as well.
On with it then.
Andrew's going to be reading the questions. So
I'll be reading today's selections.
So, lob us a softball.
From Zero Outer Limits. With the strongly negative reaction to the pricing of both Braid and possibility of Castle Crashers, do you feel that because of how Microsoft handled XBLA until now, that they have priced themselves into a box where people's expectations are 800 points and anything above that is unreasonable? I feel that Sony have intelligently avoided this by having more expensive games from the beginning, like Warhawk and Gran Turismo. If you agree, how do you think Microsoft should deal with this? Who's to say that Ratchet and Clank Future or Quest for Booty is worth 15 and Braid is not?
I think you should turn yourself up, first of all, because I need to hear you a little better. That's number one. And second of all, I think this has a lot to do with how also we were talking about the Creators Club stuff is going to be received. I mean, they have really walked themselves into a corner with the point system because no one knows what points are. As the point numbers start to escalate, you're like, I don't know, how much more money are you charging me?
I think that was the original idea, probably, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
I believe.
I had with these crazy space bucks. Take 1,200 of them.
I believe obfuscation was like the MO.
And it sort of backfires in their face here, don't you think?
I don't
How
think.
is it backfired?
I don't think.
Because your reaction is, you know what, they're just ramping up the numbers. It's getting more and more expensive. I'm paying more space bucks.
I will say, the games.
But people are doing it, so how is is it?
They are doing it.
How is it backfiring? Because a few hundred people online think it's outrageous because they've actually bothered to work out how much it costs. Real people don't know.
I mean, I don't think it's as bad as, like, say, on iTunes, where they really are, like, 99 cents has become a magical number that's kind of ingrained into everyone. I think, most people and all of us know the what is 800-point thing, but I don't think it's that ingrained yet. And I think the games that you're getting now, by and large, these games that you're downloading are much more significant than the ones you were downloading at first when the service came out. So I think it's going to stay a case-by-case basis. I think the type and quality of the games that came out when Xbox Live first launched are going to have to stay 800 points, or else people just aren't going to buy them. Forget the outcry. Like, people will vote with their wallets and not buy them. As for the other things, like, the marketplace is going to rule. If people don't want to buy the Penny Arcade, if they think it's too expensive, then they won't do it. But, for me, Braid, is Braid 1,200?
Braid's 1,200.
Yeah, so, I mean, that, to me, is totally worth it.
It's 15.
And Castle
$15.
Castle Crashers is allegedly 1,800 points. But I think, higher price games, if there's demos and if they're quality games, then it's okay.
Right. It's case by case. It's a case by case basis. I don't think that it's gotten too ingrained. And I've seen the people online, talking about it, but I haven't really seen like a great, coherent argument about it.
I mean, I kind of thought part of the thing that was cool about, especially where Xbox Live Arcade was that these were almost impulse buys, right? And I think there's a threshold level after which it's not a impulse buy anymore. It becomes I want to know whether this is really a game that I'm feeling good about.
I heard good things about Siren, and I bought it like in an impulse buy mind frame, and then I realized I spent $40 on it.
Was that Nick?
No, it was Anthony.
But you could have bought just the first 3 chapters.
I know, but I don't know why I didn't. I like being complete with stuff.
So you don't like Siren?
I only played like the first, very, very first.
It's traditional. I mean, I understand all that, but you're at the crux of this matter, which is that there's a differentiation between these games that you are grabbing as an impulse buy, and they're a few hundred points, versus the high point value, and now you're starting to get into real games. And one of the things people have said they liked about the PlayStation Network was that they were delivering meatier content. So there is really a disconnect here.
I do give my hats up to Sony for delivering, like, for being on the forefront of delivering big and real and meatier games over PSN. But I mean, I still don't think. I mean, I think even with like. I don't think that if it's an impulse buy, it should be an impulse game. And I think a lot of these games coming out are not like impulse games. I think they are games that stand up to scrutiny, that stand up to the scrutiny that a lot of real titles, or at least budget titles, stand up to. And I mean, I also like Bionic Commando Rearmed. I think that's even like too cheap for that game, to be honest.
That might almost be right.
Yeah.
And what about Eden? Like, I'll throw Eden out into this mix because we didn't talk about it, but I've been playing Eden. I adore Eden, and it's a very simple game to get the idea of. You could impulse buy it, but at the same time, you could play that game for a long time.
How much is it?
$10.
It's $10.
See,
and it's well worth $10.
The way people talk about it and the look of it and how much content, like a few years ago, before downloads, if that was on a disc, you'd have paid $30 for it.
Mm-hmm. Right. I would.
Same with Braid. I mean, like a couple of generations ago, you'd have spent $39.99 on that game.
I would put Eden above Braid for me, from my style and what I like and how I play. But I could see where you're coming from. I can fully see where you're coming from.
Free at last. His question comes first. Pay attention. Why do I keep hearing the iPhone mentioned in the same sentence with the DS and PSP? Do people know something I don't? It's a great conversation piece, and yes, people can do some pretty cool things with multi-touch and the accelerometer, i.e. Aurora Faint, but it's still just a novelty item, not a true gaming platform. You can't have a handheld gaming device without buttons.
Hundreds of thousands sold each month, period. Next question.
As a handheld gaming device.
But because it's ubiquitous, and people have been asking how on earth is gaming going to come to the mobile handset in North America, and because of the penetration of the device, because of the momentum that Apple gains in the marketplace, and because of the fact that they're putting out there this SDK and getting people, because they're building energy around it, there's like this magical, group of things coming together at one time to make it work.
The paradigm that games require buttons, like Wii Sports, a lot of the most fun things there, you're not using any buttons for that. So
agreed.
Well, right, but
what kind of games are you talking about?
If you want the same old shit again, you need the same old shit on the device. But this is. It's a device that does a bit of everything, and more that's going to be what you have in your pocket.
At the same time, though, and I agree with a lot of what you guys have said, and I think being able to download right from wherever the hell you are, right from the store, that's huge. But at the same time, I will say, everyone, when I was in LA, of course, everyone has their fucking iPhone. And so I'm like, oh, okay, show me some games on it. The couple things that I've seen, and this is, of course, like just my experience, anecdotal, but one was like a lightsaber thing where you hit it and it goes, it's free.
That's an app.
But I'm like, but people were like actually impressed by this. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, so what does it do? Oh, well, it goes when you move it around. Look, didn't you see? And I'm like, okay.
Well, I mean, did you see any of the real games?
Well, you look like such a dork.
One of the other one was it was like a dice game where you go like this and move it around, and it's like, oh no, but Mark, the dice really move how they would in real life.
It fucking kills me. Like people have been sitting there giving me these long explanations about, oh, you know what? It's not a random number generator. There's real physics recreations of dice inside there, and they're bouncing.
I mean,
I'm like,
yeah. So it's more really random than like what?
All right, 3G iPhone's been out for like a month, and there aren't that many killer apps. Like Monkey Ball is pretty good. Aurora Faint's decent, but has any real game developer made a game for it yet? No. Give it some time.
I think 2 months. There's fair enough. And what you're getting is pretty much almost a raw indie gaming scene with some real publishers thrown in.
Right.
There's over 300 games in the App Store already. A lot of them are garbage, but some of them are in the same way that when you sift through a lot of the indie gaming stuff, a lot of the stuff that Sharky goes hunting for, the iPhone scene is more like that than, say, the DS scene right now.
Right.
But as the THQ Wireless stuff starts to come through and the new EA stuff comes through, assuming they don't bring the For Dummies games to the iPhone.
So, yeah.
And there's like these real games coming that,
however,
the dev kit's not been out a year
yet. The big deal will be for people to acknowledge when they're building it that you are building with an interface that doesn't have buttons on it.
Right. So, I mean, the iPhone is, I want the iPhone, and I think it will get eventually its own kind of Pokemon, something that was only possible in so much as a game that's only possible with it, that uses the features of it, like the communication, maybe the GPS. But I mean, I do think it's a legitimate thing with the games. It's kind of like with the Wii, when you try to bring existing games that we actually like and care about, franchises, the kind of games that we know and love, even classic games and stuff like that, it actually does become a significant thing, the lack of controls.
Unless Ryan Payton listens to my pleas and ports Snatcher.
iPhone could be perfect for casual games, though, because I have to say, Brian Crescente showed me this game while we were traveling on the bus between one of the conferences at E3, and it was basically columns, but depending on which way you turned the iPhone, it was able to sense that. So as you connected colors, it would fall in the direction you had it.
Right.
You have this?
But
that was really cool. It was very intuitive, quick. You could play RPGs too.
JRPGs work totally well on it.
Right, you could dance around on there.
Yeah, I mean, so what? Do you have like a D-pad that comes up on the screen and moves around?
You can play Vi.
I mean, if
you touch.
Pull up
a menu.
I think what the question is talking about is like games like Columns and the Dice game and the Tetris. Like, you are going to get great versions of all of those games, but you kind of already have those games on cell phones. So if it's going to become a real system, like with air quotes around it, like a PSP or DS, like, is it going to be able to do it with just having motion controls?
Carmack says it's more powerful than a Dreamcast.
CBBop007 was thinking of Steel Battalion the other day and submitted this question.
Didn't you give the game a 10, Mark?
No. That would be Che Chow.
Just Che gave it a 10.
I gave it an 8.
Could we begin to see more games outside the music genre that ship with specific, unique peripherals that are used to enhance the gaming experience? I would think it's a possibility after the industry has seen such enormous success with Guitar Hero and Rock Band. Also, EA Sports recently commented that they were developing some sort of peripherals for the Wii. Is this just the start of a new trend? And what games would you like to see use this model, if so?
Ugh. I think it's going... This is the wrong direction. I know Guitar Hero is huge, but plastic instruments, any bullshit in your house is... as the industry goes towards digital distribution and you're not going to be going to GameStop anymore to buy your games, who wants to buy plastic bullshit?
Mark was visiting my cubicle just before the show, and he noticed like the 7 guitars just laying on my desk alone.
Right.
It's the pending environmental disaster.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was looking at right now. I'm like, this is what every Salvation Army is going to look like in 3 years. It's just going to be fucking Guitar Hero controllers as far as the eye can see. It's going to be like the end of Indiana Jones, except with Rock Band 1 and Guitar Hero controllers.
It's kind of like when you look at how arcades had to essentially devolve because the home systems were taking trade away from them, so they all became location-based entertainment centers, and it was more and bigger and crazier, stupid stuff for you to remember that thing where you were like pedaling on the thing, the balloon.
Oh God, Crispin loves that game.
Prop Cycle
or whatever it was.
You're playing Galaxian 3. You're like shooting at a giant wall.
I mean, like
it's
the most exhausting game ever.
Yeah. Prop Cycle was awesome.
But I think this is the wrong direction. I really do.
Yeah.
I think it's inconvenient.
How can you say it's the wrong direction though when the biggest games right now are Rock Band and Guitar Hero, games that can only really exist with their peripherals?
But the question was outside the music genre.
Okay,
and I think you nailed
enough.
it. Question is games that cannot exist without that peripheral.
Right.
And how many other genres? If someone was to, bring up some great game that needed this peripheral for it to
or
exist,
can you do everything you would ever need to do with some combination of guitar, balance board, and egg and gun?
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah.
Actually, that would be awesome. You're standing on the board with a guitar,
game.
a guitar, and a pistol.
That should be like the XXX video game. You parachute out of a fucking a jet flying, shooting guys on the way down, fucking boogie boarding. You're in the air
and playing a guitar solo.
The only peripheral I'm interested in is like a 20 by 20 conveyor belt floor, which they already make for virtual reality games, and that's what I need.
You're talking about the fucking holo
that's
suite
what I'm talking
about.
Fucking holodeck.
Holodeck. But
nice.
Actually, honestly, so are you saying, Shane? Or is this like an argument against the balance board? Because I think you could definitely argue the balance board is more versatile. It applies to more different games than the guitar controller.
You know what I want to see? I want to see Wii Foursquare.
And you're going to be able to play Tetris with it any day now.
I'll try that. But in general,
only with Wii Motion Plus.
Holy shit! Wii Foursquare. Someone's going to do it now. They're never going to give me credit. Sucks.
I want fewer peripherals in my life.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we did that.
We're going to cut that one early.
Down.
All right. Master Gamer 343. How much do you think that achievements/trophies have changed the way people play games? Do you think it encourages people to finish their games in order to get those points, or do you think it just encourages people to become achievement whores? What are some of your favorite achievements trophies? Which ones do you hate? Are there any that stick out in your mind? I'll just say wax on, wax off, and pacifism from the original jump.
Yeah.
So you guys are in the middle of this thing, so you can't really comment. Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I was just going to say, it sounded like the second question he answered kind of answered the first question. It changes how people play games, but that's what people call achievement whores. If you do something that you normally wouldn't have done in a game because of an achievement, some people would call that you're an achievement whore.
But they're part of the game design, so it's sort of, in a lot of ways, it makes you play a video game the way you used to when the games were less complicated.
But I think it's
when you would go back and try and find, you would go back from the beginning and try and do things perfectly, or try and do it differently.
Yeah.
But I've witnessed enough people who didn't used to play like this, and now they do. Like they do things they didn't used to do because there's an achievement associated with it.
Buy Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for easy.
So that's an extreme. That's an extreme case,
example.
Right? But I think the average person, it's like there's good achievements and there's bad achievements. It's a game-by-game basis. There's achievements where it's just okay, that's fucking nuts. I'm never going to do that. That's retarded. I would have to take a whole week of my life just to do that. But there are other ones like Dead Rising, the zombie genocide, where you have to kill 43,000 zombies, that at first do seem stupid, but once you start to play the game, you're like, I think I could do that.
Have a shot at that.
I wonder what that would be like.
I think for you, Dead Rising was the game where you just completely locked into it, and for me, it was Crackdown. I think every single achievement in Crackdown was just enough out of reach that as you got better at the game, you started to realize that you had a shot at it.
I don't really care.
I can remove the think for you, by the way.
Huh?
Yeah, you were hooked on the Crackdown.
I never really cared about achievements or trophies. I still kind of don't, but Crackdown was the first one to really get to me.
Well, and what about Geo Wars 2?
And
you were so excited about those. It makes you the good ones make you play a game. It's not going to make you love a game that you hated.
But I think the game is the compelling part, is forcing you towards the achievement.
The good achievements actually use aspects of the game that you normally wouldn't care about. Remember Geo Wars 1 when you had to not shoot anybody for whatever it was, a minute. Yeah. So, it makes you take an aspect of the game that you might not even notice otherwise and actually, fully exploit it. That's a good one. The easy ones are finish this level on hard, finish this level on, insane, finish this level in a minute, or whatever.
I have to say, what I do hate are the ones where it doesn't tell you what they are.
Yeah.
locked.
Really?
Where everything is locked or secret, and then it just says, "Hey, you got an achievement," and you're like, "For what?"
Yeah.
I think for some people, achievements are a way to stick with a game and return to a game and keep playing a game.
That part
right.
is
But
valuable.
better or
for
worse.
me, I always have so many different games to play. Like, I'm never going to go back and get the achievements of the game. Who cares?
Right, you have to remember, like 90% of the people out there get like 1 or 2 games a month.
So
and
then
their
it's
kids,
a great way to keep challenging the game.
It's a great way.
I've got to say, there's a lot of Japanese game developers don't seem to get it.
Right. Yeah.
Dead Rising was unusual because it did dish them up, but there's a lot of games that you play from Japanese developers where you could beat the game and never get an achievement.
Well, they're afterthoughts. I think having them on PS3 will actually help it a lot more because a lot of the Japanese developers still are more stuck on the DS, the PSP, the PS3.
Yeah.
They make games for the 360, but it's like, okay, we need to have these achievements. Hey, American Arm, take care of those. Just write something in there.
Yeah.
They're kind of an afterthought. When they're built into the game, that's when they get actually really good. I think you'll start to see more better ones.
If they're built into the game, they're good. But I have to say, in general, I fell out of the achievement race for a moment and then stayed out because I was like, you know what? I enjoy games much more when I'm playing the game for the game and not for the achievement.
So what about like adding achievements like PC stuff like Steam and now World of Warcraft?
You know what? I say, Andrew, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't.
Me
you know what?
But it's not a bad thing, right? It's not a negative thing, right?
It's not a negative thing per se, but I tell you this much is that when I jump into a game or I see people on like friends or recently played list who have like 18,000 achievement points, I do sort of start to think,
it can be a negative thing in the case of Team Fortress 2.
I was just going to say, multiplayer games, that's an excellent point. That's its own thing. Like any game, even Gears, where it's like, kill this many people with a pistol. It's like, oh, you dipshit. Like, fucking put away the fucking pistol. Like, we're fighting here. Like, and you have to get
so who the hell am I?
Multiplayer, right. Multiplayer gaming, it can be a problem. Single-player gaming.
Hearing people talk about achievements is the worst thing ever.
I got a question.
It's like talking about your dream.
Sort of plays off of this. So I'm not a hardcore gamer anymore, but I'm not a casual gamer anymore. Who the hell am I?
You're Garnet Lee, host of One Up Yours.
You're not a hardcore gamer. Wait, what?
Where am I? I'm not, because I'm not. I'm not.
Tony Award-winning podcast.
I think you mistake, Garnet. I think you are a hardcore gamer. You might have forgotten what that is. You might know people who are harder core than you are.
I know people who are way harder core than I am.
But you think, eat, and sleep video games for like 16 hours a day.
Person, I mean, you do things they would never think.
You're a freak.
You Twitter
you're
about games a lot.
Yes.
All right.
We are an ESPY award-winning podcast as of today, too.
Wow.
Felia Lois, do you think frequent online updates, such as Burnout Paradise, or extra chapters, such as Grand Theft Auto 4, will change the amount of sequels or the time between them? For example, what if GTA 5 doesn't come out until the next generation, and GTA 4 has extra chapters that are basically what Vice City and San Andreas were to GTA 3?
It's a good question.
I think it's moving that way.
Yeah.
And I think it's not a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah, I think it's going to be longer between burnouts and longer between... I mean, to give the 2 examples that he gave, that's exactly what's happening.
Or I think, for example, it might be longer between Halos because perhaps they'll make like an expansion pack or something.
That's a good point too, because think about it. I mean, the teams are very much about creating the content, and so they get caught up in, if they get drug into making a whole new engine and a whole new experience.
That's the crux of it. If they're going to build this like engine, like for Paradise City, they built this engine where they can render this entire city and stream everything. They're not going to table swipe that and then start again. They want to build on the foundation that they've built.
I heard Warren Spector gave a speech at GDC 2 years ago, and one of his big things was reinventing the tools or reinventing the camera every single time.
Right.
This is what that's becoming.
And those, I mean, the 2 Burnout packs they've done now, I mean, like, there's a lot of content
and you've seen
in
what's
those.
coming. You've seen what's coming with bikes and planes.
Yeah.
And they're doing them for free. And what's amazing there is, like, it makes you play the game again. It makes you not trade the game in. I think it's brilliant.
Well, the bikes hit this week, right?
Yeah.
So what I think they need to transition and to start doing is with something like that, and they've kind of started doing it with the Halo map packs and stuff like that, is it has to have its own brand, like its own identity. Like it's not just an update, it's not just a map pack, it's an actual like it's like a new game, but not a a numbered sequel
like
or something like that.
A side story,
promoted.
It has to be promoted and taken care of seriously.
That's a big point.
Yeah, I mean, you have to see on TV. That's when it's going to be real. Is when you see on TV Burnout now with
I'm
helicopters.
I'm curious, Mark. What do you think about the Ratchet and Clank thing?
Exactly,
where it could have been an add-on that required the previous game, but
there's been a lot of arguing about that online.
Instead, it's a standalone.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it's a good question. Like, I think it's a business thing now. It's like if the money does the money work out that way? Like, can you sell these things by themselves?
I'm shocked the Burnout stuff's free.
I know, me
because
too.
it's so much
That
stuff.
I don't understand. Like,
people are happy paying for that similar kind of thing in Warhawk.
Yeah.
And now Burnout's $29 as well.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we're starting to get towards a persistence of engine and a return to a focus on the content. And Ratchet & Clank is very much about that, right? Because the engine is there. This is not a new engine. This is all about creating a certain amount of content and how much content do we build into this module. And this module has like one new mechanic and a new place to adventure and a new storyline. And that's really cool.
It totally, it feeds into this thing that I've been thinking about lately where it's like, and you guys have talked about a lot before, like, Rock Band. It's kind of a buzzword thing, but like Rock Band becoming a platform, or this becoming a platform. All of these games are becoming their own little mini kind of platforms, like
Little Big Planet.
Exactly, like Little Big Planet,
well,
like
the
Halo,
quintessential example,
like whatever. But it's going to be like you have this. They're like little mini systems, little mini platforms within systems where you download the update, you get the sequel through the thing, but it's got its own little world, its own little updates or that kind of thing. But they just need to start promoting it differently.
Right.
I think it needs to. People's mind needs to change.
So the development community needs to keep on pushing on doing this sort of content, and eventually the marketing and the advertising and all that stuff comes behind it, and you get people to do this sort of thing, right? Because,
in the
like
press
you said,
too, yeah.
we need to see new ads for Burnout that say now featuring bikes and
if there was a new commercial for Burnout, it's like planes, bikes, $29.99.
Look at how much they put in there.
Yeah,
exactly,
it's unbelievable.
And I mean, and honestly, like, of course, you guys in the press are going to play a big part too in saying like this is a significant thing. It's its own thing. Like, it's worth the money, or
so if you're a gamer
whatever.
that just like really loves Burnout right now, if you're not reading gaming sites or anything, the only way you're going to find out that the Cagney pack, whatever it's called, exists is if you happen to have your 360 online, and not everybody does.
Nope.
And the next time you turn it on, it's going to tell you it's available, right? Isn't that's the only method of?
Yeah, it's like the Warhawk stuff. Like, I know kind of that they're doing a lot of cool different stuff, but I don't know exactly what it is because I just read about it here and there on like hardcore
sites.
Unless
they promote it in the storefronts, on the PSN storefront or the
sounds like the journalistic sites are missing an opportunity.
Next from a listener, I'm sorry if I mangle your name, Stephen Totolo.
Tortilla.
What?
Steppen.
Tortilla.
Steppen Tortilla.
Steven
Steppenwolf Tortilla.
Steppenwolf Tortilla.
How did this get in here? What does Japanese developers' historically quote-unquote worst E3 showing ever? In terms of awards given by the game critics.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell? Oh.
That was a qualifier.
Okay.
What does that say about...
That's the game critics.
Because everything is really measured by what the fucking game critics say.
That's the game critics in capital letters.
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Which refers to
game critics TM.
Which refers to a specific group, including Garnet Lane.
Don't worry, the 4
full transparency, I did vote in that group.
Wait, yeah, let's finish. Skip, go ahead.
What does this say about game development in Japan and the games that are shown to an American audience at the biggest show of the year? As I note in that post and the one it links to, the pattern for Japan-made winners over the last 4 years has been 6 wins, 4 wins, 2 wins, and now 1 win.
MTVMultiplayerblog.com.
Yeah, I was going to say what. So yeah, I will say, like, when the game critics vote games like Resistance PSP as best handheld game of the show, then I guess that kind of says something. Like,
we're going to cover the
really game critics.
We're going to
really.
It was a good game. I saw it.
Best game of the show? Best handheld game of the show?
Best handheld game.
I didn't
really?
see much.
Okay.
So
I mean, I'm just basing it on what I'm just basing on what
handheld game we bothered to look at the show.
Yeah.
Well, it could be indicative.
It
could be indicative of E3 and who bothered to show up and show what.
I mean, I am but a simple caveman. I only saw like what I saw on the interwebs, of the show.
I
didn't play it.
That something had something to do with Chrono something or other.
Well, not even. I'm not a huge Chrono Trigger fan.
There was that game.
I voted for Castlevania as the best handheld. I think it's better than Resistance. I really do.
Rhythm Tengoku, I would assume, even if it was the GBA game again, I would probably be more excited.
I think what Steven wanted to get to here was what's going on?
Well,
what's going on with
a good topic.
It's painfully obvious. It's like the PS3 is slow to start in Japan. Yep. People can't spend the money to make good games. 360 is still like people porting things over, getting money from Microsoft to make games. Like, there's a lot of reasons.
Well, and there's a lot of it's kind of an in-between year for a lot of franchises, the big Japanese franchises that are left.
Right.
I mean, honestly, they have been decreasing, but like Metal Gear just came out, Final Fantasy's still fucking whatever. I mean, you're not, counting that,
right.
even though it was kind of the biggest announcement of the show. It wasn't there, it wasn't playable, it's not going to get voted on at the Game Critics. That was still the bombshell of the show, right? I mean, Nintendo, the Nintendo games are probably still going to be some of the best-selling games.
Well, I think
Animal Crossing, Wii Sport Resort.
Nintendo's showing is definitely part of this. Nintendo's poor showing at E3 because you can usually depend on Nintendo to have 3 or 4 really good games.
Don't you think also what I think he's alluding to is that a lot of particularly the third-party Japanese publishers are increasingly losing touch with the way the global market is like global tastes have moved on,
and they're increasingly unable to produce the kinds of games that people want.
I mean, we're getting pretty versions of games from 10 years ago now in a lot of cases.
Okay,
like they're more sophisticated. But
instead of platitudes, what sort of games? What examples?
I think like Devil May Cry 4 is a really good example of a.
I wish you would have brought this up not during a 4-minute
Shane was
warning.
waiting for you,
John. So John Davidson, which 3 Devil May Cry games suck? I'm just curious. Which ones?
But no, as using that.
Don't let him off. Hold on. You got to answer.
Which ones sucked? I've beaten them. I've beaten them all.
But I think that
maybe 3.
Personally, I think they've all been pretty poor, and in terms of like core gameplay mechanics, they haven't moved the needle since the beginning.
Agreed.
And there's a lot of games coming out of Japan that are like that.
Whereas like
but
are U.S. publishers moving the needle with Gra Vegas 2? I mean, like
Fallout 3, which won Game of the Show. How much does that move the needle from Oblivion?
What Steven's getting at is yes, like Japanese game development is not what it once was. Yeah, I think you could. I don't see it though as on the decline. I think it has been the last few years. I think it actually hit its low point already. I think I have actually seen and heard more about Japanese developers finally getting stuff like online, like stuff like community, stuff like, okay, we have to actually pay attention to. I mean, look at Metal Gear Solid 4, like the controls and stuff like that.
Okay.
That wouldn't have happened like 4 years ago.
MGS4 and Resident Evil 5 are paradigm shifts for Japan.
So,
it's not easy for these guys. They're very dyed in the wool. They don't change,
Does the journalist community hold the Japanese development community to a higher standard than they do the Western community?
I don't think so.
From an artistic standpoint.
I mean, I don't think so. I think Japan has its strengths, which are, as I see it, like art direction and detail oriented. Like they're really good about the details.
Would you ever see backyard wrestling out of Japan?
No, although they brought it over there. It did come out there, but America, America and the West in general, development has shifted there. Now, I think Japan has finally, and you start to hear people talking about the Platinum Games guys and that kind of stuff. You do start to hear people talking about we have to learn from the West. I don't think even like Street Fighter 4 ignores it.
I think BioShock made a huge impression. Stuff
like Halo, people do in Japan do notice stuff like Halo, and I think it is a valid thing. At this year, Japanese development was not represented like it has been before, especially in like the kind of the critical kind of areas. But I think I think it actually hit its low point probably a year or two ago, and I think it's actually going to be on the rise. It's not going to be ever what it was, but it's going to definitely come back.
All right.
Well, throw in your last point.
Yeah. Okay. We went overtime already.
I was going to say, like, I believe that in the last 4 years, like PC-style games have become much more popular across consoles, like shooters, RTS, sports, the kind of games that Japanese don't do.
They don't understand them.
They don't understand them yet.
Right.
And also, like, if a few titles had been at E3 that will be a TGS, like the Eco Team game, or some other big-name Japanese games, White Knight Chronicle, some like Cryon, whatever. Who knows? It could have gone differently.
Yeah. I think it's the state of E3.
Yeah. My brain's not working. What was the Namco game that David Chen notoriously loved so much?
Breakdown.
That
was first person.
That was.
We tried to play that, Mark. We weren't having it.
Yeah.
But it was a tremendously interesting artistic endeavor.
It was.
All right.
Shut up. Go ahead. Say it. Go. Zip it.
He is just waiting.
All right. Steven Tortilla, he got us all a while ago.
Good job, Tortilla.
Tortilla.
I want the guacamole.
Let's be a little retrospective. Yakety Yak Blah asks, looking back now, how do you
wait. Yak got a question in?
Yeah, because it relates directly to us.
It's not the Wicked Yacker, is it?
No.
Yakety Blah. He's like,
Greg Ford is the Wicked
You'll be happy. You get to talk about yourself,
Blah. He always gives us hell on the internets.
Looking back now, how do you feel about entering into podcasting? Has it affected you has it affected how you do your other jobs at OneUp?
Oh,
do you have
or
any
don't
regrets?
do your other jobs at OneUp.
Oh God, this is the last question, right?
No, there's another really good one.
The
After
follow-up. No, the last question's good too. Just anything significant you like to say regarding how the podcast or podcasts has affected OneUp, its editors, and the community.
Biggest fucking mistake I ever made in my entire life.
I would say that it affects. They're high-fiving. You're both gone from the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's me, John, and Mark.
Hold on. I just want to recollect from what John. Do you remember? So first of all of this has to come back to Jane, because Jane Pinkard, if you do not know her, is the genesis of any of these shows on OneUp, because we all owe it to her. And then secondly,
back when it was just 2 cans and a piece of string.
It was literally
the fucking grumbling and griping when I asked everybody to start doing podcasts.
Dude,
Fuck,
you
man.
remember?
Wait. Before that, me walking around the floor and trying to get anybody to do it, and even you, John Davison, would give me I don't know, I have stuff to do. I'd have things to do.
I was the boss. I just said we need to be doing podcasts.
I used to get in trouble for doing this podcast with my bosses, and I got talked to a few times
when you skipped out every other third.
Yeah, when I would leave deadline to go work on this podcast.
God love it, yakety blah. Fucking, I'm here because I love this shit.
Okay,
I have my new job.
Ultimately,
I do now.
I think podcasts are really exciting, and I wish they'd been around when I was a kid. I would have listened to them.
I think it's really cool how the developer community is starting to.
Yeah, it's really very impressive that people listen. Like when I was joking earlier, but Media Molecule actually listens to this, but a lot of developer community listens to this because we're just still there. We're this is much more real than sitting there.
So here's the thing,
stuff.
though. Wait, let's make this a little interesting. So, do you ever think to yourself before you say something, oh Christ, if I say this, I know fucking Cliffy or whoever, Mark Rain, I'm gonna have to he's gonna hear about it from somebody, Luke, or whatever.
Skip's gonna have to edit it at 9 o'clock after the show. Thanks, Shane, Garnet.
But I mean,
probably Mark.
But I mean, aren't you? Does that not ever influence it? Or
no, only
let me flip it. The second part of this question: are you at a party and you're like, oh, there's whoever. I just said that last week on one of yours.
In this day, people want more transparency out of their media, and you can't trust anyone, but you can trust what happens on this show, because we invite people on the show, and they get liquored up and they say shit, and but you're going to get some real talk.
There's such a huge, for me, kind of like a professionalism gap between what we say and what we write. We could say, we've said all sorts of crazy shit, but the instant it goes into a blog or it's an official review, it's hell on earth.
Yeah, right. But Andrew,
with readers and developers and publishers.
2005, you and me talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
It still works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome.
And I'd like to think that, the loose atmosphere we have here has helped inspire things like Ben Judd's Top Secret podcast, which is so off the cuff. I can't believe it's an official.
No, and how much it's only because it's in English. If they ever got a translated transcript of it, they would probably all be fired the next day.
We like Ben.
No, I love those guys. They're good guys.
As far as the community goes, I think it's really cool that we have a couple of community-based ones on the boards right now, including when we drop
Player One Pro.
Yeah, that one, and when we drop Pile of Shame, the Squadron of Shame
has done an excellent job.
And now they're relating with OneUp FM's backlog thing, so it's really cool.
And we'll never forget.
My brother edits that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, and the three
Your
of us.
Your brother's really cool. I have good pictures of him.
The four of us will never forget last year at PAX when we didn't think anyone was going to show up, and hundreds of people showed up. We were blown away.
So you guys are doing PAX again this year?
Yeah, we are.
Friday night.
Also,
at
in terms of
6:30.
Friday,
6:30.
Be there.
Friday at 6:30.
In terms of the way it's changed our jobs, and I think any of us that have done like TV or radio media since having done this, it's a lot easier to sit in front of a camera or go on a radio show when you're used to this environment, because it sort of trained us to not sort of dwell on what's coming out of our mouths.
To not think about, maybe, is what the word you were looking for, what's coming out of our mouths.
When you're on national television, you have to think, don't cuss.
Yeah.
That's true.
I never thought I could do that.
I can't say fuck on the Today Show.
Can't talk about busting testicles.
No,
but that didn't stop Meredith Vieira from wanting you bad.
Dude, she thought your hair was very attractive. What did Dre think of Meredith?
Huh? Oh, Dre's a big Today Show.
That was a big reach around question, but that's all right.
Speaking of Today Show, EA, Bryce Bear, whenever you decided to have Willard Scott play Rock Band on Today's Show, it was the worst idea you ever had.
Oh my God.
Fucking life.
That was awesome. Wait, it wasn't Willard Scott.
They cut to,
Oh, I thought it was the four of them. I saw the four of them
They showed
playing.
the four of them, and they cut to Willard Scott with a guitar, and he sang some song from the 1800s. Was horrible.
Isn't Willard Scott incontinent? Isn't he senile? Isn't he just
that's Andy Rooney. Go to YouTube, find the footage of him playing Rock Band.
Okay.
That's it.
Are we ready for the last question?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This one's from Lumberg.
Dear God.
The guys from the kids' table, a.k.a. 1UP FM, Nick and Philip, they're in an undisclosed room.
Nick A+ Sedner?
Yes.
All right.
The Joker gives them a detonator for your room.
Wait. Mark hasn't seen The Dark Knight because he doesn't.
What?
Wait, is this going to spoil
Yes.
stuff? All right, I'm going to have to take my headphones off.
I haven't seen it either.
What?
You have no excuse. I have an excuse.
Okay, I'm just going to narrow it down to who dies.
Okay.
1UP FM or us. I'm kind of torn because I work with both. So
Well, we're the veterans. They're the kids. They have a lot of passion, a lot of hope, and
they're on the upswing. We're kind of on the decline.
How are we on the decline?
I just did that to get
Eat
mad.
a dick.
I mean, Garnet, think about it. You know, you're older than those guys. You've seen more. You maybe peaked.
I bagged way more than they have, too. What the fuck?
Those guys can podcast for like 4 hours straight.
Sometimes
Garnet.
they want to. I have to give
Shit,
them.
I can go
4
6
hours
I can go
straight.
6 hours straight.
Sorry, so I missed the question. Is the answer going to spoil the movie
yeah,
for me
kind of
too?
ruined it.
Is the answer going to spoil the movie for me too?
Why so serious, Mark?
Why so serious?
Why so serious?
All right. So
That kind of failed on us. Sorry,
Yeah,
Lumber.
Sorry,
We tried.
we did.
I hear I got to listen to the 1UP FM.
Oh, it's a
1UP
quality- it's a
FM now.
quality
It is actually a
I
good
hear
show.
good stuff.
It's
I hear
It's
good things.
It's a lot better than EGM Live ever was.
Oh.
Except for that episode with you and Dennis Dyack. That was a winner.
The incoming Tri-Delt class is actually pretty decent.
Coming up on this Monday is 1UP FM.
Tri-Delts are sororities, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever.
They'll
They'll have to graduate.
If you would have played that
Call
better,
them
you would have been
girls.
like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Then that would have gotten you points.
Whatever. They need to graduate.
What
still,
was
but
the
they're doing well.
fraternity from Revenge of the Nerds? I thought that was actually
Delta-
yeah.
Yeah, Delta.
No. That's
Lambda
may I help you?
something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Let's do this in real time. Let's try to remember what the fraternity was in Revenge of the Nerds. Play along with us at home. We're gonna try to remember it. No.
Start with the beginning of the Greek alphabet.
Anyway,
That's it. That's 4-minute
last
warning.
question.
that's 4-minute warning. All right. Wow, this is an excellent 4-minute warning, folks. There you go. You know what it is? It's because of the 8s. The 8s are very lucky.
Oh, 888.
8808. So if you stick around, we'll have a very lucky news segment right back on the other side of this break. And now for something completely different, the news. But I'm going to start the news with something, well, Jeff Green received this fine piece of heavy parchment today from, no, not Lord British. Lord British has actually received a promotion. He's now General British.
Oh God.
If it's space related, and it will be, you think he'd be like an admiral or something.
Well,
They adopt naval
I think
in space.
I think it would be better for him
Captain.
to Commandant.
Maybe.
Commandant
That'd be a good
British.
Maybe.
Commandant British.
I think a lord outranks a general.
I think he has a gold star on his rat tail now.
Are those the news glasses, by the way? It's like a whole different atmosphere that's happened here. Garnett's put on
Well, you can't see
serious news
Yeah,
glasses.
what you can't see are the granny bifocals that Garnet is
Got
now.
to push down on the end of his nose.
Yeah.
All right, what does General
One
British
day,
have to say?
you too shall be my age, and I will piss all over your face, and it'll be terrible.
In 2020, I'll call you back.
Isn't that what he wants us to do?
Are you interested in saving humanity? I mean, who does it? Like, by the way, this letter starts off fantastic. Are you interested in saving humanity? No,
Not
actually,
really.
no, not really. I've actually read the message boards around the internet, so I'm not really so interested in saving humanity anymore. So this thing goes on to basically inform Mr. Jeff Green that should something happen on Earth, it could be his DNA code that rebuilds the human race one day.
So Richard Garrett wants to send sperms. Us to send sperms.
I was going to say, from what I've heard, General British has done some spreading of his own DNA around.
So if you go over
the greater Texas area.
Really?
That's just from what I've
You
heard.
should elaborate on that.
from Houston to Scarborough.
So what's going to happen here if Jeff Green gives his DNA
if you'd
over
like to go over to OperationImmortality.com, you can check out where Jeff might have entered his own personal message, and you could talk about what mankind's greatest achievements have been. Because
Is this a Scientology
How does
thing?
this
Yeah, what is it asking for?
evidently,
get to the Korean MMO?
there's no Korean MMO. However,
Cut right to the Korean MMO. You know from the word Garriott there's going to be in there somewhere.
Operation Immortality is a once-in-a-lifetime event in which Richard Garriott, the creative force behind Ultima series and massively multiplayer PC game Tabula Rasa, will take with him into outer space a storage device codenamed Immortality Drive, containing a history of humanity's greatest achievements, digitized human genome data, and personal messages from people all over the world.
And for that, he wants Jeff Green's DNA?
Yeah, he does. Here's what you have to do. Take some liquid soap, squirt it into like a little cup, tape it up, send it back to that address, care of Jeff Green.
Wait,
no, seriously. Seriously do
I
that.
don't understand. Why would they use, I don't understand, liquid soap? What do you mean? What do you mean liquid soap?
It's a stand-in for semen.
What is
So
it?
is Richard Garriott asking people to snap one off for him?
Yes.
Is that what he's,
Is there a game involved?
Richard Garriott's going to make you his bitch.
He wants our spunk? What is there a game?
He
was sitting around in his mansion
Quest?
down where
From
he's
what
like,
I'd heard, wait a minute,
let's see what we can make those games journalists do for us.
From what I'd heard,
Yeah.
Shane had already given him his spunk.
Oh. Wait, what? I don't
What?
I don't understand.
Actually, there was no spunk involved. There was Q-tips and a swab instruction set that
That's
said
not gonna be
to
enough.
rub the inside of your cheek.
okay.
So what I'm saying is ignore that. Take fucking liquid soap, squirt it
All right.
into like a container, and send that back, and be like, "Oh, I must have misunderstood."
So 50,000 years from now, the
far
Earth will be
more
repopulated
reliable.
with ivory soap
Exactly.
dispensers.
Like here, I thought you might. Here's the Q-tip, but also we gave you.
I
want to
make sure there's plenty of me.
Okay,
Just in case.
Is Rat Tail Boy just going into space because he has a lot of money, or is there like a game he's promoting here?
Rat tail
Because he,
boy.
yeah,
Have you seen his rat tail? It's impressive.
I've seen it like in 0G, fucking bouncing around because he goes on the fucking vomit comet.
It becomes a double helix of DNA.
This
in
whole thing
space.
is an excuse probably for him to go on that fucking plane that flies into like the sub-atmosphere.
Well, actually, he's probably going on Virgin Galactic, which launches next year.
I believe that actually is part of the deal.
Yeah.
He's one of the Virgin Galactic thing. Anyway. On a more
Moving
serious
on.
note, on a more serious
Moving
note,
on.
the game critics have announced their 2008 winners of the Best of E3. Best of Show went to Fallout 3.
Did you vote for that for Best of Show? Game critic Garnet Lee?
No, I didn't.
So here's what something that people were talking to me about the Game Critics Best
Yes.
of E3 awards, awarding it to Fallout 3, which I mean, I didn't, play it or see it at the show. I mean,
Okay.
I saw what came out of it at the show, but from what I've heard from a lot of people, it didn't show as well as it did before the show. So they were saying, like, yeah, people kind of voted for it for what they knew about it before the show.
Game critics got to play it for like 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't like the bad part
Sort
of
of-
the showing at the press conference?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
because
it
it's very
doesn't show
difficult to show in a short clip of a game like that. Any role-playing game really doesn't give you any insight into the depth of the game.
Because I
the way
didn't
it
hear
plays,
a
the
lot
mechanic
about it
works, and
at the
that
E3
stuff, right?
time, but I heard about it leading up to it. So I guess that,
Right.
I mean, that was all incorporated into it. I mean, a lot of those events were for E3 judging, right? Before E3. So,
Right. And Fallout
yeah.
3 had its own event where people got to sit down and do whatever they wanted for several hours.
Right.
All the publishers participated in
Right, but you feel
pre-E3
because that game
judges
had
events.
such a like open-ended do anything demo for the game's critics,
Right.
as opposed to other games which probably you didn't get to play for 3 hours. I think it was unfairly balanced in the favor of this game that you get like no
Okay,
holds
look,
barred.
I'm not
access
here to
it.
defend. I'm not here to defend the whole award system because any award system is going to have its points where it's going to have its cracks in its armor where you can attack it. Every game had its opportunity to be presented, and one of the things that the Game Critics group is very adamant about is that a game must be in playable form at E3 in order for it to be judged.
Right.
Now, if you want to show it beforehand, that's great.
Yeah.
But if you don't ever give the judges an opportunity to play their game, put the controller in their hands and let them play the game, then your game is not eligible.
So you're saying
for
that
these
Bethesda
awards.
was wise to do this event for one game and let people have a lot of time.
And Resident Evil did the same thing, did they not?
And I would say, like, to be fair, what do you want at the end out of E3 awards? You want really what are the best games. A lot of games don't show well in I'm going to see 5 minutes of it up on screen kind of atmosphere. So having the pre E3
Right.
little things be a part of it is could be a good thing.
You just brought up RE5. I was there for that pre-E3
Yes, you were.
demo, and they were twice as long of a demo there as was available on the show floor.
Okay.
But it still wasn't like what you got for.
I'm
for
just
Fallout.
wondering, aside from being able to put the little emblem on the box when it comes out, how does this really help Fallout 3 in any way?
Well, I saw a study today that said that games that win awards do tend to
Yeah,
sell.
but not,
You know what, though?
Slightly
not
better.
because they win awards.
Exactly.
Because
It's
they're
specious
good.
logic. Like, so a game is getting good hype because it's a good game. It wins awards because it looks like a good game. That's why it ends
It's
up
like
selling
Gears
copies.
of War
but-
2 is going to sell really well. Did it get an award?
It did.
So
Oh,
do you have all the awards there?
I do.
Let's go through them.
Okay, so the complete list is this as follows: Best of Show went to Fallout 3. Best Original Game went to Mirror's Edge.
I hear a lot of great
I'm
things.
so mad that Flower didn't win. I could just
Did you guys see the Portal version of the Mirror's Edge level? That was pretty cool.
That was really cool. Yeah, we actually have that up on GV. Like, you would be really proud, Mark. Actually, the GV guys have been doing you really proud since
I watched it on Game Videos.
They've been doing you a good job.
It loaded.
It loads now.
And it's pretty.
What do you know?
Best console game went to Little Big Planet. Nice. Best PC game went to Spore. Best handheld game went to Resistance Retribution. Yeah, so there's an interesting point.
I'm just really like, okay.
It was playable.
Yeah.
It was done by the same guys who did the Siphon Filter games.
It looks
on PSP,
impressive,
which
but
was good.
It was early.
It was very. I agree. It was very early.
Year. Games coming out next year.
Do people really ask or want for like a third-person Resistance game on? I mean, okay.
And why wasn't Patapon 2 there? You know. Anyway.
Why wasn't it there?
Why wasn't it there?
That's a very good question. I would think, to me, the fact that that Chrono Trigger didn't win this is significant.
Did somebody play? Who played? Did you play the Resistance game?
No.
It was played in front of you.
It was played in front of me.
So what? Can you see? Like, okay, I could see it winning that award.
Yeah, it looked like a.
I played it. I could see it. Yeah. I can see it. It's like those guys are very good at handling. You know what?
It's early, but it still looks really good at this.
But
point.
I mean, like. Game of the show. It kind of doesn't. I'm not getting the
PSP
oh my god,
Mark. What they've mastered is they've come to grips with the fact that the PSP doesn't have a second stick, and so they're very good at modeling their control scheme and the way you play the game around not having a second stick.
Well, in the Siphon Filter games, it's not like those were bad, right?
No,
I mean, those
they were
good games,
they were
but
good,
it just like I mean, even hearing the announcement, it's kind of like, okay.
Siphon Filter PSP, I think, superseded Siphon Filter PS ultimately.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, to the point where they started putting them back.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It just kind of seemed to me like, wow, it must have been kind of a weak
year
for
that game
handheld.
There were not as many PSP or DS games as we expected there to be at E3.
So that's one of the controversial selections. Another controversial selection is Rock Band 2's Ion Drum Rocker set, which was a third-party drum set.
$300 drum?
That's the $300 drum set.
That are also real drums if you unplug them.
Well, the real
drums.
The real drums, if you add on the sequencer, you can buy a sequence like a real.
For how much does that cost?
I don't know. Whatever sequencer.
I don't
Yes,
know.
a few $100s.
Okay.
But they are real digital drum pads. So if you add the brain to them, then you have a real drum set.
Yeah, what category was that?
That was in the best hardware peripheral. So there was a lot of.
What was that up against? The Wii thing?
Wii Motion Plus.
That's it.
And you know what? It wasn't up against. It wasn't up against the new the new Guitar Hero guitar, which a lot of people have said is like.
Why wasn't it up against that? That wasn't considered in the thing.
Was it up against the plywood box that Sean Elliott sat in at QuakeCon?
That was pretty, by the way, if you haven't watched those QuakeCon videos with Sean Elliott, they're pretty funny. You know what? Because of the nomination process and because they weren't brought forward. The simple fact is they didn't come into the nomination process. They didn't get there.
Are you saying? Do you think? Would you have voted for that if that would have been in the running?
I actually
did you put it in as a nomination?
I'm unsure how much to get into what I voted for. I abstained from the hard.
I'm not asking if you voted for it. I'm asking if you nominated it.
I abstained.
I'm asking if you
I
voted
abstained
for
from
it.
the hardware.
I have a feeling Garnet would have voted for the Rock Band Fog and Light Machine, but they were out of fog. They were out of fog juice when we got.
You know what?
There.
I'm not even sure that the Guitar Hero guitars does it for me. I mean, I almost think we're getting too complicated. We played Rock Band at Klepek's housewarming party the other night. It was so fun because it was just guitar. It was just Rock Hero.
The greatest
You're just playing.
fucking game, by the way.
It's
and
so
I was the total
fun.
skeptic. Shane, hats off to you. You lugged it to Japan.
You're welcome.
I know. Thank you. You lugged it to Japan. Every single person, doesn't matter. You could be fucking 80 years old, 8 years old, guy, girl, whatever. Like Japanese girls that don't fucking understand English. The funniest thing in the world to see them like singing fucking Rock Band. It's been awesome. Hats off to you. Thank you. Best
welcome.
game of last year. Rock Band.
Whenever I see your Facebook about your upstairs neighbor being upset, I felt proud.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to stop playing before 11 o'clock.
Another surprise came from the best action-adventure game, which was taken home by Dead Space, which I think, back and forth.
You were there the same day we all played Resident Evil 5. We all went and played Dead Space, and everyone was like, was it just me, or was that kind of better?
So this shocks me.
It was shocking to me,
This honestly shocks me.
But it shocks me for probably a different... Why does it shock you?
Well, I mean, I'm a big old Resident Evil fan. Big Resident Evil fan.
Okay.
But, I've been hearing more about Resident Evil 5. I mean, I'm interested in all of it, but I was like, Shane, tell me about like the inventory system. Tell me like the stuff that I haven't read about here and there. Shane was telling me about it. I will say Dead Space looks great. Like I'm super excited for it. For me, it's definitely not a one or the other type thing because this one's sci-fi. This one is.
I believe expectations played into it largely. We'd all seen Dead Space
earlier,
thought it was derivative, and
it made significant strides.
Right, and RE4 was a landmark.
4.
RE4 was like a life-alteringly awesome upgrade for that franchise.
Right.
RE5 is not.
So we were talking about, is RE5 going to be kind of like a Code Veronica, where it's like a perfection of everything that's come before it?
Dude, if it's a Code Veronica, that would be great.
Well, I think it seemed to be on track for that at E3, but if everything that those guys are hinting at in terms of what we've seen isn't indicative of the final product, then I think it could be better than we thought.
I mean, I am excited as hell. That's like one of my top 5 most wanted games.
So I have to say,
5.
I thought Dead Space was really cool, and I think the mechanic of having to cut up the enemies in order to actually kill them really adds to that's a new way of adding the tension level to that sort of survival horror thing. It's like now,
and the zero-G puzzle bits are really good.
I agree.
And the I will say, Dead Space, the thing that I was like to John, I was like, you have to fucking see this. The HUD that appears as a hologram before you, I think is like one of the smartest, best integrations of a fucking inventory system and everything that I've ever seen. Like,
anybody play Prince of Persia?
The new one?
Yes.
No.
Oh my! To me, the stunner of this was that Prince of Persia didn't take it home, because it has that sort of just. If you're into that sort of game, that it has that immediate catch like the first 3D Prince of Persia did, when you're like, wow, you know what? This really speaks to me. This is really cool. I'm really getting into the adventuring part. I'm really getting into the feel of it. The art style is, again, they broke the model and went to another new art style.
Right.
And I think the idea of saying, okay, we're going to take this as a number of different Arabian Nights stories. Just like those were fables, there's a lot of different Prince of Persia fables we can tell, and here's another new fable. I think that's a really good approach to the game series. I think this is a great new beginning.
But if the new Prince of Persia doesn't sell, is it over? I don't know. The movie got pushed back, so
it will sell. It's
sell.
a good game. Right. It's a really, really strong game.
So it's not the sort of Deathlock version of Prince of Persia.
No, I think it's really cool. It's the cel-shaded eco version of Prince of Persia.
Right.
Excellent.
With cross-hatching. Best role-playing game, of course, went to Fallout 3. Best racing game went to Pure, which you and I, Shane, you and I love that shit.
It's good.
Pure's really, really.
The Disney one, right?
Yes. But Disney published.
It's
Rainbow.
It's ATV Off-Road Fury 5.
It's Rainbow Studios?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Great boost system, really fun to play. Best sports game went to Madden. Best fighting game went to Street Fighter 4, which is arcade. It's kind of weird, don't you think? I don't know. Now this was a huge surprise to me. Best strategy game went to Tom Clancy's End War.
Over what?
There was a lot of good vibes about that game coming out. A lot of people saying this will do for real-time strategy what something else had done for some other genre.
StarCraft 2 wasn't there. I guess
my thought ran out there. But anyway, it's sort of redefining the control.
That's a box score.
But it's not. It's full spectrum warrior with a real-time strategy skin.
So what should have won it?
Dawn of War 2? I don't even know what that is.
You know what?
There was an uproar.
I just made that up.
There was an uproar when we didn't give Dawn of War the best RTS for us.
Dawn of War 2 is outstanding, and I agree with that. However, I'm going to go even more like PC nerdy. I really, really like Red Alert 3. I really, really, really like Red Alert 3. The different mechanic of the 3 sides, the way the Japanese side is totally mecha, the whole amphibious combat side of it is really fun.
I can see, though, how people would be more excited about... I mean, what's Red Alert 3 announced for?
A PC. It's a PC
only. And 360.
It is announced for
360.
Is it 360 already?
I believe
it'll come to 360.
Because I was going to say maybe people are excited about End War in that it's finally. It seems like everybody right now is looking for what is going to be the RTS that is going to finally fucking break it for the
Halo
consoles.
Wars, End War.
Oh yeah, what about Halo Wars? What about it?
Yeah, what about Halo Wars?
What about Halo Wars?
Speaking of Command & Conquer,
it was on the list. It was on the nominees.
That's what we gave.
I heard that Tiberium was quietly canceled.
Really?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
I don't know, but I'm thrilled because Andrew Wong aimed me today. He's the PR guy over at EA and said, I will have my Red Alert 3 beta key tomorrow, so I'm anxiously looking forward to playing with that. Best social casual puzzle game, Little Big Planet, again. And then best online multiplayer, no big surprise, Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, can
Left
we
4
wrap
Dead.
this up?
Done. Bye. Hold on, let me...
Left 4 Dead, the game that Resident Evil Outbreak should have been
Exactly, yeah.
3 years ago.
In today's Shane Was Right segment, Final Fantasy 13 demo coming to the PlayStation.
I would actually take issue with Shane being right about that.
Okay. How was I wrong about that?
Didn't you say this would
Pendulum Shift.
counteract the announcement that it was actually coming out for 360?
I believe my quote was, there will be an announcement at this DK Ridiculous event that swings the pendulum back towards Square Enix's favor.
DKS 3713.
Back towards like Square Enix, specifically Nomura, having favor with Sony platforms, and which would happen. Like specifically,
not really.
I don't think you were this specific when you.
Well, I couldn't have been that.
You said it would swing the momentum back to the PS3, right?
And I even said not for good or ill.
Right.
And what happened at this event? I'll recap for everybody. They announced that in March, the Blu-ray release of Advent Children in Japan will ship with a second disc. And
it's a fantastic movie, by the way.
It's,
Have you even watched the whole thing?
I've watched it. They're adding 30 minutes. Those 30 minutes could help a lot. We'll see.
Yeah.
Or could just make it 30 minutes longer.
It's 30 more minutes of sleep that you're going to fall asleep before the Sephiroth fight at the end.
Hold on. I have to shift my pendulum.
All right. It is a beautiful, ponderous film that looks great on Blu-ray, I'm sure. But no, that's not no one cares about that.
Right.
The reason you're going to spend 9,800 yen to import this Blu-ray
is sad, but
the second disc, which when you put it in your PS3 will have a playable demo of Final Fantasy 13.
Right.
In March.
And that's great, but I wouldn't quite say that's a counteracting a momentum.
All right, but let me continue adding here.
Yeah.
So that demo, when it comes out in March, everybody in America and Japan can import it and play Final Fantasy 13 on their PS3. When do you think that demo is going to be available for Xbox 360? How about 2010? All right.
How about 2010?
Like a whole year later. So for a whole year, if you want to see Final Fantasy 13 playing,
Final Fantasy's not coming out until 2010.
When's it going to be available in English?
So Final Fantasy's coming out in 2011. The demo is coming out in 2010.
At the same event, they announced that Final Fantasy 13 for PS3 in Japan will be out by the end of 2009.
Right.
And then when that game is finished, then that's when they're going to start porting it for 360. And because of that, the U.S. release for PS3 is being
2015
is being artificially held back to be simultaneous with the 360 version in 2010.
So what are you getting at here?
So I'm getting at for a full year.
You're getting at that you're going to be playing this in Japanese.
Right. For a full year. If you want to see Final Fantasy 13 running, it's going to be on PS3.
Is that a vein on his forehead?
No, it's not. And I'm just explaining. I'm just explaining those comments I made. Fuck you. All right, and the second we see Final Fantasy 13 on 360, we'll instantly know what has changed, what's been compromised, what they've had to take out.
Why do you?
Wait, why? Yeah, what are you talking about?
They've already said that like the sound may have to be desampled, the textures may have to be at a different rate to fit on.
They may have to take entire characters out. Mark, they may have to take characters out of the game. They're going to remove characters from the game.
They didn't say that, but like
Tom Bombadil, not in the game.
Right. But we know they already
Cactar.
They've already said in many interviews they're not even really worried about the 360 version. They're so dedicated on finishing the Japanese version first.
Right.
All right, but so that's all the FF13 stuff. The other things at this event were that Parasite Eve 3 and Final
I'm actually happy about this part.
The cell phone game?
Final Fantasy 13, Agito 13, which were previously announced as cell phone exclusives, are now PSP exclusives, and they've changed Agito to make it into like a.
By the way, along with Vagrant Story, Parasite Eve, one of my all-time favorite
Parasite
games.
Eve 2 is a piece of shit, but Parasite Eve 3...
Parasite Eve 1.
Hopefully be like Parasite Eve 1.
I hope so.
But the Agito thing is a bigger deal, because they're changing that whole game to make it a 4-player action RPG like Monster Hunter.
Really?
So everything Japan right now is like Monster Hunter.
So moving
seriously, it's like the Call of Duty 4
Phantasy Star Online
in Japan.
So
Monster Hunter, it's Monhan fucking fever.
The combination of having FF13 playable in 2009 only on PS3 and moving Parasite Eve,
but you say that like it fucking matters to more than it's playable only on PS3 to you and to me and to people that are actually gonna play it in Japanese. But a lot of people, it's it doesn't matter until it's playable.
John, stay with us.
I'm not saying.
Yeah, John.
Okay.
Mark, by the way, you know what else?
We stayed with you when we were talking about baseball earlier.
Mark, you know what else is playable only on PS3? The home beta.
Wait, one more. All right, one more thing from that. One more thing from that.
Darn it.
All right, one more thing from that event.
Garnet.
One more thing.
Setting me up here.
One more thing from that event. Nomura came out and said that Versus 13 remains exclusive to PS3 worldwide. So if all those things combined don't to you equate a little bit of Square Enix and Nomura specifically qualifying that he is still loyal to Sony, which he said in the past.
Right.
What was that Final Fantasy VII game?
It doesn't. It's not that it doesn't equate to me that Square still has a special relationship with Sony. But it does not equate to me that the fucking Monster Bombshell, which by the way was not a last minute thing. It was in the works for a long time. The Monster Bombshell that it was coming out I mean, if you would have said that Resident Evil, the new Resident Evil, and that the new Final Fantasy was coming on the Xbox at the same time as the PS3, like a few years ago,
I agree. Nothing at this event was as big as
it is a mitigating factor, but I wouldn't say it swings the pendulum back.
No, I didn't say it swung it all the way back to where like, oh, Microsoft, who cares about that? No.
Wait, you didn't?
Who cares? No.
The direction it was going was heading back. It was still in the zone of Microsoft. What's next in news?
Yeah, can we do the next one now?
Home. There you go.
Okay.
Mark McDonald.
What about Home?
We're going to be playing Home for free one day, and maybe it'll be a full release. At the moment, they're going to expand the closed beta. In North America, if you'd like to get into this, all you have to do is download the PlayStation Home desktop theme for your PS3. So that there's going to be an update for your PS3. If you download the theme, then you'll be automatically entered into the sort of lottery I guess they're going to have to see if you get into the beta. Ooh. They're also going to look at your online behaviors. If you've been active on the PlayStation Network, that'll be a factor that figures into whether or not you're selected. For those of you who are in Europe, they're not actually doing the download thing. They're automatically just looking at, have you been active on the store? Have you been active on PlayStation Network? They're going to select you to put you into the Home beta. Actually, in Europe, it's the beta. In North America, it's the beta.
Presumably, there's some kind of activity threshold.
I guess. I mean, I think that it actually kind of makes sense. I mean, if you're looking at activity, you're looking at people who are already doing stuff online. The bottom line is, if you're going to get beta testers, you need people who are actually doing stuff online. You can't just have people who don't sign into.
I have 4 people on my friends list. Am I going to get into the beta?
I don't know. Are you?
Not.
Have you been active on the store?
How excited?
I bought
scale of 1 to 10. How excited are you guys for Home?
0.
6.
2.
Absolute 0 for me.
4 or 5.
Really?
Yeah. Does not bode well.
What about
does
you?
It?
What about you, Mark?
At this point, probably about a 5, 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've played with it. I was at probably like an 7 or an 8, and then I kind of played with it, and I'm like, I mean, granted, this was a beta last year, which it's come. Even from what they showed at E3, it's come a little bit. They're starting to involve it in games, but I'm still not. I mean, from what they showed at E3, I'm still not getting the like. We understand why the hell you really have to play this thing. Like,
I don't think that. I kind of feel like they're not sure about that.
No, exactly. I feel like they spent the last year kind of trying to figure it out.
Right. I mean, they've been changing the positioning. If you looked at like what they talk about at E3, they're very much upfront. We're going to get the unified login. We're going to get the game features figured out up front. Those will be PlayStation Network basics. So they're going to get that part out of the way, and it's not going to be attached to Home any longer. And now that kind of frees them up to play around with Home.
Right.
But at the same time, that puts them in a situation where they're trying to figure out, like, what are we doing with Home?
Right.
And why does it need to be here? And
exactly.
Well, I mean, we've seen a few little things lately, like those Namco arcade units they're testing in Japan, and they said the Echochrome guys are making a arcade 2D version for Home.
But why do I got to go into Home to play it? Why can't I just download the game?
Well, but it's just a different angle on that. Like, you can play Echochrome for real, or you can like be walking around this virtual environment and play the 2D Echochrome with friends in a room. I mean, it's just like no one's forcing you to do any of this. It's just,
you know what might pull you in? What might pull you in would be a free Zevra mount, because that's what World of Warcraft is using. And obviously, World of Warcraft knows...
Yeah, if Home had horses...
If Home had zebra-striped ponies with unicorn horns, then they would be all set, right?
Yeah, because really, how different is Home than WoW? Come on, think about it.
Wow.
A lot of dancing goes on in both games.
Message boards, Shane Bettenhausen.
You can get married. You can get married in both.
That's very true. So, the story that we're moving into here is how Blizzard just continues to pile. I mean, they really are like just piling on at this point. They're adding a bring a friend encouragement into WoW, where if you bring friends into WoW, then once you do that, your characters will be linked for 90 days. You'll be able to summon them into your game instantaneously.
Hey kids, the first hit's free. Tell your friends.
Seriously,
dude, it's so bad.
No, it
gets
more like,
worse.
Hey kids, pretend that you have a friend that you introduce to it, and get this fucking thing, because we know you're going to add a second account and pay for it just to get this thing.
The GFW guys were joking about this on GFW Radio this week, and they're saying that these guys are trying to outsmart Blizzard, and like, okay, now you're paying us double.
Yeah,
like Jeff doesn't already have another account already. Give me a fucking break.
Oh, you got us. You're paying us double. Oh, you fooled us. Oh, silly us. We're gonna go fucking spend your money at a strip club.
All right, so there you go. If you get your friend after drawing them in. By the way, you also earn additional experience points when you're adventuring with your friends. So if I brought Shane into the game, we play together, we're earning triple experience points. If I got Shane to pay for 60 days of WoW, then I'd get my Zebra mount.
This seems oddly timed. Like, I would think that the Lich King beta and the build up to that would be recruitment enough. for like
Yeah.
new people to get them back.
Or getting people back if they drifted off.
Yeah.
Are they trying to break 20 million? I don't even know what the next
Well, we were talking about
plateau
this.
is.
We were talking about this actually when we took a little break. Like, John, you said, how long did Conan last? And I guess Conan lasted about as long as it took for the Warhammer beta to come out.
Yeah, so now everyone's leaving in droves. The stock is like spiraling out of control or something, right?
Yeah, I mean,
And I think, to go back to home, I think they're thinking, I would hope they're thinking more about the free online virtual worlds than the MMO type stuff. But for that, it's got to be a compelling place for people to want to go hang out.
And sit and watch shit load. Like, I mean, really. Yeah, exactly. What is the killer? Why do I want to go to this thing and sit there and see your apartment?
They've
or
got
whatever.
to tap into the reason that people want to go play Habbo or go play MapleStory or RuneScape or.
But it's got to be
even
something.
Club Penguin. There's got to be a reason to want to go in there,
Right.
over doing anything else.
And
it's
got to be more than just walking up to an arcade machine and there's a great arcade machine there because I can download that. So why does it have to be collaborative? Why does it have to be in this Second Life kind of world?
I think if
that's
they
the question.
If they can make the games like casual, compelling, you want to pick up and play, and as you're walking around, you're talking to people and like. I think to some consumers that's really compelling.
If they tap into the sense of discovery of trying to find new things that other people have found.
If they start doing stuff with like games before they come out, I think we've talked about this before, but let's say Final Fantasy 13, let's say they had like a castle, whatever, a spaceship from Final Fantasy 13, you can go walk around it with your friends and like see stuff and talk to characters that are actually from the game. If there was like a shooting range from Resistance 2 and you could take the weapons from Resistance 2 and like, this is how this weapon works. That makes sense.
That's all possible.
What we've seen, though...
I'm buying what he's selling, actually.
But what we've seen doesn't make sense.
You've seen the Uncharted and Warhawk spaces,
but that's just a fucking room that happens to have, like, camouflage hanging on it, or it's a room that happens to have fucking this or that hanging on it.
The Warhawk one is more interesting because you can plan out battle strategies.
So
that's for, like,
they said from the leak thing, but still, why can't I just do that in the Warhawk lobby? Why do I have to be in home to do that? Why do I have to be in home to do it?
So what? I mean, kind of what you're arguing is that home itself has to have enough reasons for you to want to go hang out in home.
Exactly.
Because this idea of it being a launch bay for other things is just not going to cut it.
No. Separate from, like, why do I have to be there walking around with you and Garnet and everybody? Like, why isn't it something that could just exist within the game? That's what they got to get people on board for, and I think there are possibilities, but they're not showing them. With that room that just happens, 20 seconds of a room that happens to have camouflage hanging. Right. The Warhawk thing we only know about because of stories that leaked like long before it. They didn't show it or say that, and even that, it's like, okay, why can't I just do that when we're all just about to play Warhawk anyway?
And they keep waiting to like put all this content in to make it like feature rich when they launch it, but what's enough? And like, at what point do you just have to let it grow and evolve?
And I applaud them for doing something new, for trying something to kind of try to leapfrog Xbox Live and everything they're doing. But it's like, don't do things just for doing new things.
Just for the sake of doing it.
Right? Have it's got to have.
What's the reasoning behind it?
Why are you
going to do it? Well, obviously, the Blizzard guys are at the opposite end of the spectrum. They've done a lot of stuff that's been proven to be successful, and then they pick up on the things that other people do that have been proven to be successful, such as achievements. And they're going to learn from the track record of other services, such as Xbox Live versus the PlayStation Network. There will be achievements, which we already talked about in Diablo 3 and in World of Warcraft. The World of Warcraft achievements, according to senior designer Jeffrey Kaplan at Blizzard, will be retroactive. And by what he means is that they've already tracked many of these variables that would have to do with whether or not you've earned an achievement, such as...
So there are going to be people that turn it on one day and it'll say, you have all of the achievements.
Yep.
That is actually exactly it.
They'll be so sad.
But then Lich King will have its full set of achievements.
Right, so there'll be other ones but it's like you will already have earned those badges of honor, so you won't have to go back and replay Uncharted, for instance.
And that's it done right. That's it done right.
Absolutely.
Because if you get those achievements, you're like, oh, okay, well, which ones didn't I get? And then you go back and you're like, da-da-da-da-da. Who's going to really play through, Uncharted again? I mean, as great of a game as it is.
I adored Uncharted.
As great of a game it is.
You might play it on hard. I didn't play it on hard.
This is kind of weird to me, too, because WoW achievements, to me, that's just gear.
Well, it is.
People know. People recognize. Like,
if you're completely tooled up, then you're clearly very experienced and have done a lot of stuff. And
you can't run around with your WoW achievements on your shoulder or something that people can see.
Fair
enough.
Your
mount is an achievement.
Well, and of course the purple gear that you get from going on those.
That's pretty much the genius of WoW, is that you can wear your achievements. Probably what Xbox Live is going to move to with their avatars. Like you're wearing this shirt.
We're going to get to that in a minute. They might be charging you for that. But one of the things
pinky rings and
exactly.
One of the things Kaplan pointed out is that they do have one difficult area, which is that some of the higher level quests, and he made as an example the Onyxia quest, where one person takes the head back to the. Where do they go back to? Stormwind?
Stormwind or Orgrimmar.
Okay, so takes it back and has it posted. Anyway, only that person has that quest recorded, so they're not able. So in order to keep the playing field level, because it takes an entire group to go do that quest, then they don't know that everybody who did that quest, then that one you'll have to go do over again. But for quests where you've already gotten the pieces and everybody gets whatever the trinket is, then you'll be fine. You'll get that, and it'll be retroactive.
Fair enough.
Grand Theft Auto 4 on the PC tip will also be coming to the computer. And if you waited, well, we don't know. This could be. I don't know. Do you think Rockstar would do an Xbox Live or Xbox Live on PC title? I don't think so.
Windows Live, you mean?
Windows Live. Well, Xbox Live, Windows, whatever. I don't think they'd be a Windows Live title. Do you?
Nah, I doubt it.
I don't think so. What you will get, though, is evidently...
It's got new online stuff, right?
Which is really interesting because they didn't say what that would be. One thing Sam Houser said is that the game plays and looks beautiful on PC already. So evidently this is not something they've just sort of half-bakedly come up with. They've been working on this for a while from that sort of indication. And then secondly, that there would be newly expanded multiplayer just for the PC. So that's got to be a response to the stuff that Sean Elliott talked about on here, right?
Yeah.
What do you think it'll be? Anyone want to conjecture at all?
Does anyone play GTA multiplayer after the first week that they bought it?
I did, but it wasn't much fun because people just
No, but I'm saying after the first week. No. Yeah.
I am so disappointed in Grand Theft because I wish people of my friends was playing it because I had so much fun. Like the couple of nights that Patrick Klepek and me and a couple of the My Cheats guys played it.
Playing with friends.
We had a blast.
Playing with the group at large, not fun. But with your friends, it's fun.
And now no one's playing it. And it kills me because it was so much. We had such a good time.
Come online, play Soul Calibur.
I've seen a lot of people playing Soul Calibur and a lot of people playing Bad Company.
Yeah, no, I've heard actually really good things about Bad Company. Surprisingly, kind of.
They're just now releasing this week the patch that adds what's the mode?
The free mode or whatever it's called.
The mode that's been in all the other Battlefields prior to this. The one where you're battling for the tickets.
I know because Larry Major Nelson has been pushing to get people to play and like rounding people up and stuff. But I think it seems to be kind of the non-Halo, non-Soul Calibur flavor of the moment.
Well, the original play type behind Battlefield was this battle for tickets, where each side had a number of tickets, and depending on how many control points you owned, you were either earning tickets or losing tickets you were actually losing tickets at a lower rate if you owned more, or losing tickets at a faster rate if you were on the losing side. So they've added that mode back in, and it's free.
Yeah.
Update. Diablo came under a significant amount of fire. This would be Diablo 3, which PC gamers have also been excited about, under a significant amount of fire for its art style. People thought it was way too colorful.
I wish I could get a real gauge on what percentage of people, because it seems, if you read the internet, it seems like, there's a good group of people out there.
Oh my God, it's huge, Mark.
But I wish I understood
there were 12 people.
What percentage of people that buy Diablo, which is a large number of people,
half a percent.
Half a percent.
There was 12 guys.
Yeah.
There was 12 guys.
Like how big of a thing is it really, and how big of a thing is it? Like, it's an interesting thing. It gets repeated on blogs. It becomes like a thing.
I mean, but I brought this up. Like, when I saw the graphics of Diablo 3, I'm not a big Diablo fan.
There were 12 guys.
I'm not a big Diablo fan, but I didn't think it looked too cartoony. I just thought it didn't look cool enough for what. But I realized it's because they need to make it run on lots.
Well,
of
you said
what's cool enough.
Yeah, Shane, you said something where I forget. Maybe it was on one of yours where Philip or somebody was like, "It looks so much better than Diablo 2," and you're like,
"That was 12 years ago."
It does look better than fucking Diablo 2.
If it wasn't called Diablo 3, and if it was like just some awesome,
exactly,
some new game that like Sony or Microsoft was making, and they said it was like, really, all right.
So it's no Champions of Norath 3,
right?
I'm just surprised they kept the old camera. They didn't. Not a lot of changes.
You know what though? It's the same thing with StarCraft. It's like, I guess that's one of those things that just people really fucking love.
Why change the formula?
So when they see something new, it's a great, amazing thing, and more power to them. I think it actually, looks good. It looks like something I might want to try to play as not a big Diablo fan.
Same thing.
So there was a tremendous amount of backlash to the art style.
But yeah.
And one of the more interesting stories that came out yesterday was that there was a advertisement on Blizzard's website that they were looking for a new art director.
So is this the same guy that was talking about the modified screenshots?
They have since followed up and said that yes, they are looking for an art director.
They are looking for a new art director.
Going to change the art style.
This is absolutely correct. So,
right.
In an official statement that Blizzard made, and they delivered this to Kotaku, this came and said that regarding Brian, which is Brian. Man, his name's really hard to pronounce. It's Morrisroe. It's Morrisroe, who was the game's art director. He has recently resigned to form a startup company, quote, outside the game industry, which is why we posted about the open position. That change won't impact the game. We're really pleased with the look and feel that Brian helped create for Diablo 3.
Well, he left probably because the look is finalized.
Exactly. It's done. And the new person
done. Rainbows confirmed. Fuck you. We're keeping our rainbows.
Exactly. And by the way, the new person we bring aboard will be working with the other artists on the team to maintain the art style moving forward. So if you hate the art style now,
unicorn mounts incoming.
That statement was basically shut the fuck up.
Yeah, really.
Don't get too excited. It's not. Rainbows are still there.
Rainbows
from hell.
It looks good. Fuck the people who
wanted
Dio
album, wasn't it?
Rainbows from hell. Seriously, fuck the people that want to turn every level into like a brown and black piece of fucking shit. Like, just shut up. It looks good. Go on.
PC development community continues to produce several creative folks. One of them, of course, at the top of his game right now is Ken Levine, and his group, he talked about what they're going to do after BioShock with GameIndustry.biz, and so far he's been kind of skirting around things, saying that what they're going to do is something very, very different. We don't know what it is. He did come down and define it a little more with them, saying that actually we can't talk about it without talking about the game itself, because right now things are related to the story, gameplay, and I don't know how to describe it, people's relationship with the game over the long term. Okay, so what's interesting to me about this story, the reason I pulled it for this, is that they came out of, he goes on in the story with Game Industry to Biz to talk about how they came out of BioShock, very successful, and said to themselves, well, what do we want to do? What do we want to do after BioShock? Do we want to go do another BioShock, or do we want to do something different? And the fact that they hit such a home run with BioShock freed them up to be in a position to call their own shot and say, you know what, we're going to do something different.
Does this mean someone else is doing BioShock 2?
I think that is what it means.
Well, we've known
that. As hell, somebody's doing
someone else.
That.
2K Marin.
Yeah, 2K Marin.
BioShock.
Right. That. And there are people who left. There are people who came over from the BioShock team to do that. I mean, BioShock 2 will be in fine hands.
BioShock 2 is in good hands.
It's in fine hands.
Really? What makes you say that exactly?
You know the lead designer of the BioShock 2. He's a friend of ours. And
it's Ted.
Okay,
it's not
Ted.
Was it not?
No.
You're right.
You're right. It is.
Oh, it's Zach. Oh, that's right, Zach.
And
it is in good hands.
I think when people find out what Ken Levine is working on, it's not a new IP. It's an established franchise. People will be happy.
Interesting.
Interesting indeed.
Give us another little hint.
I don't think.
Give us another.
I think so.
I think his
Wait a minute. I've been convinced. I've been convinced by the evil eye.
His next really big game might be some big IP, but he's definitely helping out with some sequel that is not BioShock 2.
Give us a hint.
I can't tell you anymore.
Give us a hint.
I can't say anymore.
Give us a hint.
It's 2K stuff.
2K stuff.
So does it have shock in the title?
No.
Oh.
Does it have
NHL?
No. The letter
2K9.
The letter R. Is the letter R in the title?
RSTLN.
No.
Okay.
All right.
That tells me
that's
a lot.
enough.
All right, that's enough.
Does it have pig cops?
No. God, no.
I was just curious. I don't know. I don't know what you know.
Ken Levine on Duke Nukem Forever. That'd be
so surreal.
Hell's a pop.
Hell's apocalypse would happen.
Wow.
In an interview with the Wall Street Journal, Satoru Iwata, who is the Nintendo president, was talking about how they're going to handle the Motion Plus, because we've been very concerned about how much it'll divide the marketplace, right? Here you're bringing in an add-on, and that always has a result of
how much is it going to cost? We don't know that.
That's been the big concern. The quote that he gave us was that they said that the cost of making the Motion Plus is not that much, so I think we can make it, quote, very affordable. Now, what very affordable, I don't know.
Why didn't you make the Wiimote that way to begin with, Iwata?
Right. Well, it wasn't affordable when the Wiimote came out, but that technology has gotten a lot cheaper. The problem with that is, unless it's something where it's so cheap that it's basically packed in with every game,
right,
and you just end up with
Well, that's been the
all
conjecture.
over the place.
The conjecture has been that they'll be there with.
Well, I mean, the N64 expansion pack was bundled with Perfect Dark for the regular price of other games,
Donkey.
but it was $29.99 on its own.
Right.
It was.
And I mean, but a lot of people, it doesn't matter how much it costs on its own, unless it's bundled with every game that it's with. A lot of people just aren't going to get it, right?
Yeah.
And my whole thing with the Wii Motion Plus, and I was really happy because you guys talked about what I was thinking during E3 was that, I mean, so if the game is such that it could not be made without using this super sensitive motion control, then great. Then it deserves having that. But it's like a catch-22 because if it needs to have that for the game to work, then how is it going to work when only not everybody has it unless it's packed in with every game?
So the game's designed for it. It's got to be packed in.
Exactly.
Yep. Two different scores, like Red Steel 2 with Motion Plus, great.
Well, in the game, the first thing that they ended up showing with it is like, hey, look at how the frisbee moves with my hand. Ooh, yeah, that's fucking great. But then you end up throwing the frisbee and like, who cares? It doesn't matter. You could have done that with the regular Wii.
And that minigame was ridiculous because the dog just, you hope he catches it. Oh, maybe he caught it. What a fun game.
Yeah.
He catches it if you get it inside the ring.
And then the sword fighting thing, which
that was a better demonstration.
That was a much better demonstration.
Better, but still, like when you're fighting against another person, it just ends up being fucking crazy.
The
blah,
best,
blah, blah, blah,
the best
right?
one was the jet ski one, like the wave race one.
Right.
See,
that one was really good.
That to me looked like something I wouldn't want to do. It was way too much. I don't know.
But you couldn't have done that without the motion. Without the motion
Not
plus.
as accurately.
So Iwata did address all these points. He said there will be games that will be enhanced by Wii Motion Plus, as well as games that can only be played with it. Now that's one part, right? But the part that's more concerning is he does say users will need 4 if they have 4 controllers. So it's not going to be an either-or thing. It's not going to be like you could play a game with one of your players playing with Motion Plus and one without. If you want to play a game with your friends and you have 4 friends, everybody has to have Motion Plus.
Like fairly near term. Don't they need to be bundling a new controller with the Wii?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that too. But
that's been another speculation.
Wii Motion plus whatever storage solution they're working on for WiiWare, it just proves to me that Nintendo, like Microsoft, are making it up as they go along, and we're all going to pay the price.
Well, you know what you're going to have to pay the price for if you're interested in buying it, and the price tag would be $18 million. GameTap. Well, so we already know that many of our friends who were in the journalistic side of GameTap were relieved of what they were doing a few weeks ago.
Most of them have fallen into good places.
Right, they fell into good places. That's good.
We got
out there.
We got 2 of them back.
We got Scooter and GC. So it worked out really great for us. Gamasutra reported, though, that Turner Broadcasting, that's Time Warner's parent company, is actually interested in selling the entirety of GameTap.
Turner Broadcasting is not Time Warner's parent company.
It's a division of Time Warner.
Well, as much as Ted Turner would like to own AOL Time Warner.
Well, very much then I will cop to our news writer having this backwards, okay? Time Warner would be the parent company for Turner.
Someone's fired.
Yeah.
Kyle Stolick, dead meat.
Dead to me. Dead to me.
Dead to me.
Freelancer,
Kyle.
No more.
I like Kyle. He's a good guy.
Poor kid. All right.
Anyway, according to the report on Gamasutra, they're asking for $18 million. So many people were reporting that they were selling.
I don't think they are actually asking for $18 million.
They were.
No, they said they took an $18 million hit on their quarterly report. That doesn't mean that's what they're selling it for.
You are absolutely correct. You were absolutely correct.
So fired.
So fired. Crumple this story up.
So fired. Okay, so here's the thing.
By the way, I was going to bring this up, but John beat me to the punch. Anyway, but the rest of the word from Turner was that they are considering various strategic options on how to handle this business
Why pay money
unit.
for GameTap when there are things doing the same thing for free, right?
So at GameTap, and I think we all kind of we're like, that's kind of a cool thing. It exists out there, but I knew when none of my friends who actually and I know people who work at GameTap, like, it's cool that they took that on, that they decided to spend all this money. I mean, they advertised. You saw the advertising on Real
all over the place.
Everywhere, and it was cool. Like, wow, that's like Golden Axe being advertised on primetime.
Right.
But at the same time, kind of part of you knew, okay, how long is this really going to last? Even my friends, who, when I worked here, everybody played, drank, shat games for 20 hours a day. How many people?
Damn, I just had a downloadable game.
How many people here working at OneUp fucking subscribe to GameTap?
Well, I think anyone that did it because they got a freebie account. And
right.
The only thing that they actually wanted to play was when the Sam and Max episodes were exclusive.
So they did a bunch of those things, and it was cool. And they were going to do Myst Online. I don't think they ever ended up doing it, but I knew it was a problem when I was like,
they wound up doing it, and then it was bought back by Orion, and there's been like a whole not Orion.
yeah.
What's the name of the
I don't remember.
Brothers. Anyway, the name of the
Cyan.
Cyan. Yes.
I absolutely respect what they do. I hope somebody can turn it into a business model that works. But I kind of understand that it didn't catch on because I knew even people who were super hardcore into it weren't doing.
They tried some different models.
I think it's further affirmation that Steam is the one.
Interesting.
Or
so you're going with Steam as the one?
I think Steam is the one.
Steam is the one. What makes
What's
Steam
the
one?
web-based place that everybody likes, where you go play web-based games? Or
Congregate?
Congregate.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a billion of those.
It's not even that. It's like some AOL thing that none of us play because only your grandma plays it.
Congregate versus GameTap. I mean, one's free, one isn't.
Right.
I mean, they're quite different. I mean, the things like Congregate and Addicting Games and Miniclip, they're all. I mean, Miniclip has 43 million people or something, but they're all Flash games.
43
million people go to Miniclip every month.
That's
a lot of Chinese and Indian people.
It doesn't. 43 million people. That's a very impressive traffic number.
And that's where Club Penguin was sort of nurtured, and there's been a lot of like big classic kind of casual games. But I think Steam is the one that's going to win on the non-Flash stuff because they put a lot of effort into bringing everything into one place that anyone inclined to go looking for this stuff is going to want. Because the episodic stuff is there, and all the shooters are there, and increasingly anyone's digital distribution strategy is there.
Well,
exactly.
If you're not a savvy gamer, you're probably going to go to the casual place. If you are a savvy gamer, you're going to go to Steam. And if you're a really savvy gamer who wants to play Tomb Raider and Neo Geo games, you're pirating them already.
That's a good point, actually.
That's exactly right. That's kind of what it comes down to.
Because what about the advertising model that GameTap tried? I mean, they tried a model wherein you were able to play games like Tomb Raider, for instance, by advertising supported.
And you could play, there was like the first Splinter Cell or something, and it would, but I don't think people...
I mean, look at the news story. It's for sale right now. I mean, that kind of answers all of our questions.
So if it's for sale, does that necessarily mean it's tanking? I mean, maybe they just don't want to be involved in that marketplace anymore.
They're making so much fucking money that they're just like, somebody buy us.
All right.
Well, they're looking at that, and then they're looking at the Cartoon Network division, which we talked about last week, who has the Ben 10 game creator that is getting 1 million new games a month made for it. And they're like, why are we funding this thing when we can get people to do it for us for free?
That shit does big money. CJ doing good stuff. I see them actually advertising it on Adult Swim and stuff now.
CJ should make
Adult Swim games are like very popular.
They're very popular.
The story on those is like Racist Checkers is like a really big one for them.
CJ, if you're listening, make a child clown game. Thank you.
No,
please, yes, do.
So under your model, then would Checkers would Racist Checkers soon be coming to the Xbox Live marketplace because they have made $240 million in downloadable content since the launch.
I have heard that the Adult Swim stuff is coming to iPhone. In fact, I heard that the first one was going to be Bible Fight.
Wow.
Fair enough.
$240 million, that's a lot of horse armor.
That is a lot of...
That's a lot of Ace Combat 6 decals.
So that's just the DLC on the games. That has nothing to do with the video.
No.
That's just
downloadable.
games.
No.
Yeah.
Downloadable content transactions. So
anything live.
Right. Anything that you purchased with Microsoft points that's been downloaded to.
So that includes movies. That includes
everything.
TV shows.
Oh, that's a very interesting clarification we should get from them because I don't know whether it includes video.
It's all
transactions
content.
or not. It is all content.
Because there's a lot of fucking South Park downloads out there that are made up for a lot of money.
So someone remind me to ask that question tomorrow because that's a great question to find out because I'd like to know the differentiation between
and they have my $5
entertainment
for
content.
That rotoscoped shitty Keanu Reeves sci-fi thing. What was it called? The druggy one?
Johnny Mnemonic?
No,
not Waking Life. The other one, the
Scanner Darkly.
Scanner Darkly. Yes, there's 2 hours of my life at light back.
Anyway,
that's high on my Netflix queue. Should I cancel it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
you might.
They also know. It also shows a very accelerating timeline because of that 240 million in downloadable content transactions, 180 million of it, which means 3/4 of it, is that right?
Very good.
Has been in the last 12 months.
After half a bottle of whiskey, you're still doing mental arithmetic.
Simple math.
There you go.
Garnet, what's happened?
Fractional math, right?
It was like an experiment
experiment
going on live right here, right now.
What was the point after 3/4 did what?
In the last year.
In the last year.
3/4 in the last year, a.k.a. the downloadable fucking TV and movie service happened.
In the last 12 months, which means that if you looked at it on a graph, that you'd see that line was accelerating very rapidly for them. So the amount of money that they're making is...
With the video marketplace.
Video marketplace.
It does sound... like it's interesting because that's why I was rolling on that thought. As you said that, I thought to myself, wow, I wonder if video marketplace is that successful because now you roll in Netflix.
It is the biggest digital movie and video service in the world or something now,
yes.
right?
Yes, it is.
Fascinating. All right, one thing you also might get to pay for, which is something that was batted around also coming out of Game Fest, was add-on stuff for your avatars, and we joked a lot about avatars. So there was some debate as to whether or not your avatars you'd be able to buy, trinkets for them or a new scarf.
Yeah,
or
little
new...
familiars,
Perhaps.
little pets. I heard about.
Perhaps
This
Velocity
is such
Girl.
big business and like a lot of those web-based games that.
Oh yeah,
Wait, we're gonna
I
do a
would say
Velocity
it could
Girl
be time
quote?
for Velocity Girl to finally make the T-shirts that she could sell.
There you go. Velocity Go make your T-shirt. Xbox Live General Manager Eric Kilgore also talked about the availability of avatars for game content, because one of the things they talked about was how there'd be this great synergy between you'd have in-game avatar, you'd have out-of-game avatar, and then maybe you'd have some web presence of avatar, except in-game you'll only have them in E-rated titles.
Wrong. This is wrong.
That's what Eric says.
Wrong. He is wrong.
How so?
Okay.
So
why is that wrong?
So you can use
it's not an E-rated
you can
game.
use your avatar allegedly in other games, but they can only engage in E10 rated activities.
Okay. All right. That
Okay.
that jives with that doesn't contradict.
The game they demoed it in.
Yes.
Seen it's a T.
Right.
Well, it doesn't contradict.
but
what you're saying doesn't contradict.
They will not
this.
attack each other with weapons of any
Right.
kind.
Avatars
No,
can't bleed.
Can't bleed.
They will, not even animated
Ain't got
violence.
time to
But,
bleed.
I think this is a bad decision. I think they should allow avatars to attack each other, not bleed, but attack each other. Because who doesn't want to?
That's gonna happen though. Cartoon violence or whatever.
We'll see.
John,
Well,
you know the fucking descriptors.
But-
Tell us what
but
they can
so
do
Mild
under.
comic mischief.
So
There you go.
What's the difference?
Exactly.
What's the difference between the E10 violence and teen violence? I mean, what is the difference?
A10 tends to be when there's weapons involved,
So E10 can have weapons, but no
blood.
no blood.
Yeah. So you
Even
can
teen
Alright,
violence.
alright.
Like, who wants to fucking be playing Medal of Honor and see if fucking what the avatars look like under the fucking helmets? Like, nobody does.
I think Microsoft's missing out here because no one expects Nintendo to let my Mii's brutally dismember one another.
You want Mortal Kombat with fucking
Right,
avatars.
but if any, I think if you're of a certain age, there should be some way to use your avatars in mature rated games. Why not? Why not?
But I will say, kind of.
Why not?
I had this horrible
I think
image
he-
of what
I think he
Shane's
has a point. I think
I have a point
doing.
with the 360 user base. Those people would get a kick out of it. I think.
Has Microsoft
Oh,
related
dear.
topic? Has Microsoft talked much about getting an achievement in a game and you get whatever the Master Chief helmet or whatever for your avatar once you get that achievement?
So
Is that kind of thing? Are they
3D
talking about that?
No, not yet.
Like a representation, kind of like WoW. You're talking about you get the fucking shoulder pads
believe,
when you do
you
You
something.
think they wouldn't charge for that?
I believe those accessories will be monetized.
There's an interesting
Yeah.
persistence here. So one of the things that this does point to is something they have talked about, which is that unlike the Wii environment, you'll only have one avatar for your gamer tag. So you'll have to create new logins if you want new avatars. Now you'll be able to change their attire, which is where they'll get into selling you, of course, different trinkets and stuff you can put on, or where you might be able to show off if you had the Halo cat helmet or whatever. But you're only going to have that one avatar at any one time. So that's
And it's an extra thing to put on the list of bullshit that they charge you an extra $20 with the special editions. Now you get the
Yeah.
book, the tin box, and a helmet for your
Yeah.
avatar.
Now you get the kitty cat that fucking
show
follows
all your
avatar
friends.
around.
Show all your friends
If
that
you
you
could
brought
get-
Fable 2 Collector's Edition.
Right.
You get a cat and then have the cat wear the cat helmet.
Yeah.
Yes,
Hot.
Skip. I like what you're thinking.
They haven't.
I'm along with you.
They haven't announced pets or anything for that.
Yet.
So, but have you heard anything about that?
I heard that Home might get pets.
Really?
And I heard that forever the Mii's pets was something they wanted to do.
I want a ferret. You can't have ferrets in California.
Talk to Kevin Gifford.
Yeah? Well, he's big. I don't
He'll
know.
hook you
He's
up.
kind of scary
Yeah,
now.
He breeds.
Is that all the news?
There is one more piece of news.
No.
Speaking of big,
Speaking of big news, JETS, Jets.
Brett, I love you, but get the hell out of my comments.
So are they going to put him in the Jets uniform on the cover of Madden?
No,
Is
they're
there
not.
time-
Well,
is there
they're
time for
sticking
that?
with it. They're
You
sticking
are
with
able
it.
to download a PDF
They've already said.
of him in the
Really?
Jets outfit
This is yes but no.
to put in your packaging if you
Skip,
feel very
will you
strongly
be
about
If
downloading-
it.
you live in New York,
Will you be downloading that PDF, Skip?
I don't think I will. I'll be making my own blank with just like Madden and Times New Roman.
Are you just gonna you see the box on his desk and it's just got black scroll all over the front, angry, like the plastic's ripped.
Yeah, like I'm writing over his eyes.
I feel
sort of
scissors
love-
scratched into
It's
like the
his
it really
face.
is a bad breakup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The whole idea of the Madden curse is kind of fun, but I mean, does it really constitute? I mean,
Dude,
he's not hurt. He's not hurt.
I think he will get
He's
hurt.
hurt.
He's
Skip.
laughing in the face.
Skip wants
He's
him to get
laughing
hurt.
in the face
No.
of this curse.
We were talking about it at lunch. Like, I don't want him to get hurt
But you do.
I don't.
But you'll be happy if he happens to get hurt.
No. I think he's 39 years old, and he's dodged bullets way too many times.
He's only 39.
38, 39.
Interesting. You talk like a mobster who's like, yeah, it'd be a real shame if something should happen to your kids.
If he's not careful,
walking home like they do. That'd be a real shame, those cars.
I'm just relieved
brakes aren't what they used to be. That'd be a real shame. That's exactly what you're talking about. Oh, he's 39 years old. I don't know.
I do think it happens.
He's not as young as he used to be. Yeah. I don't know.
Shit can break.
It'd be a real shame if something should happen. I don't know.
Just be glad the Jets and the Packers don't play this year. And good luck to New York fans and management at the end of this 10-6 season.
Oh.
And Brett says, maybe I should not play anymore. Just stay by your phone for a while.
Oh.
Stay by your
phones.
Yeah.
Bitter anger tears. Bitter, angry tears.
So is it Michael Jordan at the Wizards all over again?
Oh, yeah. It's Emmitt Smith with the Cardinals. It's Ricky Henderson with every major league and minor league baseball team.
He just can't.
It's
quit.
in his blood. It's in his blood.
Until he dies? Is this what we have to look forward to?
I think he'll be playing Arena. I think he'll be playing Canadian. He'll be playing European.
He'll be at the fucking local boat show.
He'll be playing
the
for
farm.
the London Silly Nannies.
It'll be like Scott Bakula in Unnecessary Roughness, going back to high school.
He'll be in like the European American football leagues.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sad.
He'll start his own league at the very end of it.
You
the senior tour.
You're a little too close to it now. We'll ask you about it later. I understand. You're a little close to it now.
I'm going to buy a Rodgers
I have
jersey.
a little pice of helpful news for people.
Really?
If they don't have a Wii.
Oh, that was an excellent story. By the way, I was going to run it, and then I thought, I'm not going to thieve it. So it was a great story. This is a good story.
If you still don't have a Wii and are fed up of going to stores trying to find one,
and you're sure you really want one,
there was
an
an
application released this week. It's free. If you Google Amazon Watcher as one word, it's a free download for PC and Mac.
For Americans, that was Amazon Watcher.
Ouch.
Sorry. I will continue the story now. And what you do is you go to Amazon and find the ASIN number. It's in the product info in the middle of the page, and it usually starts with a B, and it's like 10 numbers or something. You put that into the application, and it runs in the background, and it pings Amazon all the time. And as soon as something either hits a price point or it becomes available, you can then tell it to automatically perform a bunch of actions. One of which is automatically buy it.
Buy it
Nice.
now. One click.
So if you put the Wii ASIN number in there and click automatically buy and have one click set up on Amazon, the second Amazon has Wii's available, this application will buy it for you.
Can I get more details on this at whattheyplay.com?
Yes, you can.
Okay, because I missed parts of that, but I got the gist of it, and it's something that
he even has an image
like.
of the front end of how you set it up and everything. Good story.
Yeah. Right on.
All right, so there you go. Next week I'm going to be in London.
Oh.
You're going to be back.
What are you in London for?
Just hanging out, just having a good time.
No. What are you in London for?
I'm going on vacation.
Nice.
To London?
Isn't it an anniversary thing?
Is my 10th anniversary with my wife? Yes.
Wow!
Indeed.
Congratulations.
Going to London to just kind of having a good time.
Vacation.
Yes.
So we're doing a show next week?
Yeah, I'll be here.
How does that work?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Are you here?
No, I'll be
going back?
Yeah, I'll be back.
He'll be back in Tokyo, and then the week after that.
Are you here, Shane?
I will be back on Thursday.
The week after that, where will we be?
Already?
No, it's the week. The week after that, we'll be covering.
The end of August.
So the week after that, we'll be doing Leipzig stuff from here, and then the week after that, we'll all be in Seattle. You're going to be in Seattle.
Yeah.
So, and last I heard, I think Sess might join us.
Okay.
I mean, I'm trying to make that happen. I know,
Sess?
Adam Sessler.
Oh, okay.
I think he's going to join
People
us.
in the biz.
I was like, is that what you call Luke now? Sass? I don't even know.
Cesspool.
He may join us at PAX. Jose from Electric Playground may join us. I don't know. It could be just a big party.
You're working on a lot that you're not telling me about.
It might just be a big party.
I might get to
I don't
PAX.
know.
I want to come to PAX. I don't know if it's actually
might be
going to
at
happen.
PAX?
I want to.
Come to PAX?
Well, it's like a good time to go to Seattle, basically.
So tentatively, and I hate how they say tentatively because they haven't even shown. Wow! Suddenly the lights
there
come
be
back
light.
on.
We paid our bill.
Tentatively, they've said it's 6:30 on Friday night.
Yeah.
At some theater or whatever.
Theater 400. We'll have the details on consecutive or next show, and then on the blog and whatnot.
Penny Arcade haven't announced the official schedule yet.
Still, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'd love to have you there. We would love to have you there.
You just got us kicked out of PAX. Thanks.
They like us. I hope you guys like us. And then we're gonna have a reader meetup there. And then Saturday night we're going to have an over 21 meetup.
See, I didn't know any of this. Why are you telling me this
Ooh,
I didn't know any
wow.
of this. Why are you telling me this
What's
now?
the difference between the reader meetup and the over 21
And
reader
one will
meetup?
involve alcohol and one won't.
And what's the
One will involve pants.
Well, then what the fuck? Who's going to go to the one without alcohol?
What are the cover charges and what's my cut?
You'll get a cut of the free
Didn't we
T-shirt.
Are there
this
cage
last year?
dancers at either
Yes.
one?
We're trying to do this a little better this year.
Because there was a bit of a kids' table mentality.
Right,
at the
we're
last
trying-
one
so we're
that
trying to
we
be
should
more
try and avoid.
Right. We're trying to be inclusive this time. See, there you go. We have-
Yeah. So
there you go.
are you going to be there all 3 days?
Yeah, we're leaving on Sunday.
Okay.
I wasn't going to be there all 3 days, but I'm going to stay Saturday night. So there you go.
You sound so excited about it.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're going to be there 3 days.
Hopefully it'll be fun.
It will be fun.
Stop
it
saying
will be
hopefully.
More, it will be more fun than
was
E3
fun
from
last time.
all indications.
There's a lot of people.
There
going
won't
too.
be a Who concert.
All right, let's get the hell out of here and
Okay.
go have some fun.
Fair enough.
Folks, hope you are having a great weekend. Until next week, you know where to catch us, boards.oneup.com. For Mark McDonald, who heads back to Tokyo, thank you so much for joining us, Mark.
Bye, Mark.
Anytime.
Seat's always yours. For John from whattheyplay.com, and Shane and Andrew, this is Garnet. Thanks for joining us. Until next week, we are Ghosts.